All right, welcome everybody to Thursday Night Forum. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good.
Stan, how you
Have we
doing?
signed him? Have we
Sweeten up,
signed
mate.
him yet?
We
Signed
signed who?
Sesko.
Where you been?
You don't watch the news, do you? That ship
I
has
thought it
sailed,
was a
mate.
done deal.
That ship has
Thought it
sailed.
was a done deal.
No.
Yeah, look, well, I had a comment from last week's from Sunday's show. Listen,
That deal,
We-
right,
we-
is that deal is as firm as Julian Draxler coming to Arsenal is. That's how that deal is.
Yeah. Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, just Mbappe. I mean, just Bellingham. All of them are coming. Just same
But,
deal.
but according to these mugs in our fan base in Africa and Asia, they've been posting pictures of Sesko in an Arsenal kit.
hey,
It was a
look,
done deal.
they're doing it worldwide, Lawrence. It's England, it's the US, it's Ireland, it's France, it's
That deal's off,
Gibraltar,
isn't it? He's signed an
it's
extension.
Cyprus, it's Barbados. All the Gooners are listen, we're just talking about the people that maybe Fabrizio Romano is mentioning. There, I mentioned his name, Fabrizio Romano
Yeah, bloody hell.
and Ornstein.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
But look, I wanted to get into a show tonight about the highs and lows, and we're going to go randomly. So we'll do the highs and lows of the season. I'll start off with Gary. Pick a random player, Gary, and give us the high and low of that player's season.
The highs and lows. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then we could just like chill and chat about it. You know what I mean?
Man. You should have just told me who to pick. I mean, everybody's had their highs. You know what? I guess I'll go with it. No, I don't know. I don't even know any highs. I'm trying to think of highs
You just
or
come
lows.
second in the league, Gary. You don't have
I
any
know.
highs.
Well, no. I was gonna say Martinelli, and maybe people can help me with this one. But I mean, I guess the lows are for me. I almost feel like he's got like what we call sophomore blues. You know, that second go around is always a tough one.
Yeah.
And yes, he was injured, but I think even when he wasn't injured, there's still things that you would want to see from him when he did put himself in positions that he's comfortable in, and he still didn't. He wasn't able to shine as much as I thought he would. So those are and I think that's kind of for me, like I said, a second year thing, and that's just partly injuries. And I think when you get older, you realize how to respond from injuries and setbacks a lot, differently and stuff like that. So yeah, Martinelli looks pretty good for Brazil, and I don't know if Arteta rushed him back or I feel like he may have just rushed him back. He never was going to get better until he sat, and that kind of sucks for him. But yeah, and his good times, I'm more on his bad sides, and that's why I'm like, what did he do well? The one thing he does, he puts pressure. And you see the difference when he's out. So when he's in the game, that we can put pressure on the back line. And as you say, sometimes he's a chicken without his head, right? But I think that's something that, like, for me, you call it that. I call it basically putting pressure on the back line because he's a threat with his pace. His finishing needs a lot of work. His still needs to work, but he does put pressure on the back line. He continues to do that when he's out there. But I think this is a setback a little bit in his progression as a footballer, and it's going to suck for him. And I think that's kind of what Saka has gone through, but Saka has never had those types of injuries. And knock on wood, we don't see that. But it hurt him, and he's still young, and that's the kind of thing that sucks. He's young and he's getting injured, so he's not able to improve from year to year. So yeah, Martinelli is my ups and downs. I don't.
Right.
I guess.
And look, we'll go around the table. Stan, Martinelli's a player Gary picked out. You got any highs and lows from Martinelli's season?
He's a player that I really like, but he has started to look a little bit, as I like to say, streaky of late.
Yeah.
His performances are starting to lack a little bit of consistency. But what I like is it's obvious to me that with the two wingers that we have, they operate in very different ways. Saka is one that likes to cut in and try and get him behind that way by coming in. Martinelli, he hugs the touchline, which I quite like. I like that variety there. He's more on the outside on the byline, and he will take it right up to the edge and maybe look for a cutback or then work it in from inside from the byline. So they're very different what we have on the wing, which gives us variety. And I also think that Martinelli's been a little bit unlucky. His injuries notwithstanding, he's had to also lose a left 8. A solid left 8 next to him. It's been kind of like, since Xhaka's gone, it's been, who wants to have a go at left 8? And everyone's been, getting in the queue and having a go. And almost the same behind him as well at left back position. So Martinelli's had a lot more work to do because he's not had steady players either behind or next to him.
Yeah.
You could even say in front of him as well when he wants to interchange with the forward. There's been a lot of change through the middle as well. It hasn't been Jesus, and sometimes it's Havertz, other times it's been Trossard. So he's had a lot of adaptation to make. But, he's a young player. He still has a lot ahead of him. And I think it's doing him the world of good having somebody like a Trossard who can come in his place, because it just means that Gabriel Martinelli knows that he's not the first name on the team sheet. He knows that, that thing that I always say when a player finds himself in the middle of a bad game and they can calm themselves by saying, I'll do much better in the next one. I'm going to put my socks up and I really do much better, because they know that they're going to get picked, and they calm themselves that they'll make it up in the next game. He doesn't have that luxury anymore because that place has other players that can come in and take his place if needed. So that's all I've got to really say on Mr. Martinelli.
Any moments you remember of a high moment for Martinelli? So I'll throw one out for you. Right at the when we came back from Dubai, we were winning 3-0 against Crystal Palace, a very, very poor Crystal Palace team. And Martinelli scored 2 what looked like carbon copy goals streaking down that left side. Right in injury time as well. So, Martinelli's had a pretty poor season. We hope that he comes back stronger.
Well, by the standard that he set in the previous season and the numbers he managed to put up, then his season just gone.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite up to snuff, because we know he can do better.
Yeah, as BX Gunner says, Henry-esque were those 2 finishes, and we are banned from mentioning Dubai anymore. Brownie says doesn't have some good memories of that place.
Yeah. Now the whole still needs a left center mid. I think for me, at some point he's gonna have to learn to play without one. Right? I mean, I think he's talented enough to be able to. I get consistently it might not work, but at least once in a while he's gonna have to break out of that crux that he needs to have somebody to support him, because. I think once in a while we've seen Saka have those situations where the support system isn't there, and you know what? He's still going to have to make something happen, and that's the thing that I thought he could do for us, is make something happen, because that's what we need. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No.
I think the difference is, though, Gary, if you look on the right side, sometimes you can see really nice patterns of play between the right back, which is usually Ben White, Saka, and Odegaard, and I see that a lot on the right side, but on the left side, it's a little bit disjointed,
Yeah. No, but you know what? We always talk about making something out of nothing, right? I feel like Martinelli can do that. That's the thing that I'm still like. We still need that guy, right?
That maverick,
Henry-esque, right? Henry by himself.
Lenny Henry
make something happen, right? Like once in a while, you want Martinelli.
Lenny Henry Esquire.
When he's making that run and he realizes he's got nothing there, that he can take that ball out wide and then wait for stuff to happen and then come back inside. I feel like that's something that needs to be in his his tool, his locker and his tool belt and all of that, because it happens to him a lot, because he's always out there and he's always by himself with like 3 and 4 defenders chasing him down. It's like, you know what? At some point, you need to hold on to that ball and not just kick it away. So.
All right.
Things he's got to learn. Sorry about that.
No. Lawrence, anything on Martinelli? Give me a moment from Martinelli. It's very difficult, of course. Give me a good moment and a bad moment if you can.
It's very difficult because he's been out injured a lot.
Yeah.
Those 2 goals against Palace he scored in the final minute, shows what a class finisher he is.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, he's been a shadow of the player we all know he is overall. I mean, I just hope he's back to his best for next season. But I echo what the other two guys are saying.
Right.
You know, is Martinelli, you know, on his day, he's a handful for any defender. The way he hangs out on that left wing and cuts inside, we all know he's a classic finisher. And let's just hope that this is just a blip in his Arsenal career.
Yeah.
And he can get back amongst the goals next season.
Yeah, I think we have to remember, you know, players are human beings and they are at the top of their profession, especially in this Arsenal team. Only 25 top players can play for Arsenal. And Martinelli's definitely had an off season. And we want him to come back. But Trossard has definitely stepped up. We want Arteta to use all of the forwards in the squad and rotate correctly this coming season. Okay, moving on. Stan, you get the next pick. You can pick anyone bar Martinelli, of course.
Well, I think for me, one of the obvious ones, if you're talking about players at, you know, high points and low points, I'll go with Kai Havertz. Two very different parts of the season. You know, when he first came into the side at the beginning of the season, even on this broadcast, many of us were wondering if the money had been spent wisely. You know, if we perhaps could have used that money in other areas. And it took him such a while to settle in. And even after about 10 games or so, I was thinking to myself, no, I'm not seeing it. You know, I've given him 10 games to settle in. He's not come from abroad. He's playing in the same league. I wasn't seeing it. However, towards the end of the season, he managed to totally flip the coin, didn't he? He totally flipped the script, so to speak, and became a very important piece in our side, so much so that he was actually keeping Gabriel Jesus out of the side.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that he's found his groove now, and that when next season starts, he continues in the same vein for that second part of the season and doesn't revert back to being, and it's my favourite word again, streaky.
Mm-hmm.
We need consistency if we're going to win things.
Yeah, definitely.
Loved his goal against Chelsea, by the way. I thought that was a nice, you know, how you like me now moment.
Which one, Stan?
Both of them. I don't care. But it was just good of him to be able to, you know, put it down their throats a little bit. You know, look at how I'm beginning to flourish in this team, and I was unable to flourish, you know, under the regime at Chelsea. So I really enjoyed that, especially as it was a lot of the Chelsea fans who were leading the loud voice about, you know, he's very streaky, he's inconsistent. We're glad we got rid of him. We mugged off Arsenal. We pulled their pants down. Well, I'm glad that we managed to put that right, turn that around.
Yeah.
And one last thing as well. There's one last thing I want to add as well. And he's got an extra weight on him being he's the highest paid player at the club. So it was a real, you know, it really had to work out, or we would have probably been looking to sell him this window and take a huge loss. So I think we, you know, fair play to Mikel Arteta, and it's given me more to when I hear that maybe a player's coming in that I'm not personally sure about, or I may not know too much about. It's now given me a little bit more to say, well, I'm going to trust the manager. Let's see what this guy, you know, let's what this guy's about, because the manager managed to, you know, he's got it right so far with Kai Havertz. So, yeah.
Yeah, the high moment from Kai Havertz. I would think that was the pass from Odegaard played right into the path of Kai Havertz. The one goal against Chelsea there, and I remember Effie very upset because we were right there in lock and step with Man City, and you know he was waiting for Arsenal to crack as much as we were waiting for City to crack. Lawrence, what are your thoughts on Kai Havertz? Moments in the season for you, highs and lows.
Moments of the season were the last minute goal at Brentford, because I think that was the turning point, because we were all wondering,
Nice pick.
you know, what the money had gone down the drain when we bought him, me included.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, it took him a while to get his feet under the table. Yeah, but he's showing that he's our answer to false number 9. Yeah, the goal against Brentford and the one he scored against Brentford at the Emirates as well with the header.
Yeah.
So again, let's just hope he
yeah.
continues next. Let's just hope he has a good Euro tournament and he's all set when the new season starts.
Yeah, 2 headers against Brentford. Wonderful headers. We're talking about Thierry Henry, and I remember a goal similar to the header against Brentford that Thierry Henry scored, I think, from across as well. Gary, what's your highs and lows for Kai? You know, it's a good pick from Stan because it's very definite high and low parts of the season for him.
Yeah, no, like you said, he came for me with a bigger than, as the same as Stan said, it's a bigger fee than I expected for somebody who was trending downwards. I think Arsenal stretched it a little bit there. I mean, one thing that just stands to mind is kind of what we did. Same thing with Ben White. You know, we spent a lot of money on a center back, right? And now look at him. He's one of the top right backs in the league. You know, we spent a lot of money.
Too good to play for England.
Too good, yeah. We spent a lot of money on Kai Havertz, and Arteta's first thing was just play him in midfield. Turns out he's better playing up top, right, for us, for what we needed. And I hate that. I don't hate much, but I hate that Arteta seems to have to learn and not like maybe see things a little bit sooner than us, right? Like, I don't think any of us were comfortable with him in midfield. At least for me, from day one, I never thought that was going to be a good spot for him, and it wasn't. And we found a good spot for him, and I think we still leaned. You know, I think, like I said, like Ben White, I can remember some of his days as a center back, and I was like, oof. You know, I'm glad he's playing where he is. Same thing with Havertz, and then we had one of those flashbacks in the Villa game in the midfield. Yes, I don't think he does anything bad. Too bad there, but he doesn't do enough for us to make it worth putting him there. You know what I mean? Because he does a lot more up top for us than he will in the midfield. I know everybody looks at all the other things that happen, but I think it weakens 2 spots when we do that based on how the season ended, right? Because now we weakened our 9 spot because he's not there, and to some degree we weakened our midfield because he's there. You know, and I think there's other players that could play there without having to. You know, that can play better in midfield. You know, for example, if you put Jorginho in that midfield, that pushes Rice up. So that's not necessarily on him as much, but I kind of felt like that hurt him a little bit, and his confidence coming in hurt him a little bit. But then for me, the time when I realized things were about to change is that Newcastle game, because that was a game where I was like, he's coming out of he came out of his shell in that game. You know, he got into the heads of the Newcastle players, right? And like that's when I guess he felt a lot more comfortable in his skin, right? Whereas before we had to like beg and plead for him to just take a penalty kick, right? Just to try to trying to knock whatever it was going on in his head out. But that Newcastle game, he basically woke up and it was almost like a rebirth. And since then, we've kind of seen him play a lot better, I believe.
Yeah.
A little bit. For me, a little bit too rash in that game, but I think that's kind of him, you know, shaking off whatever was holding him back.
Trying too hard.
Yeah. And
like
you said, I think when he chested down that one ball at the end of the game, right to Tomiyasu, I think it was, or Tomiyasu put the long ball in. He chested it down. And then we scored late, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's what we wanted, right? We needed a guy
that
like
was
that.
The high Martinelli. That was the height of the Martinelli.
Yeah, so I remember that chesting of the ball down by him, and then we finish off the game. We end the game like that. And I was like, yes. So I think, you know, for Arteta's sake, hopefully he can learn a little bit faster when he brings in these players where they need to go. But yeah, we saw put him up top was the best thing. He gives us a lot more. He definitely gets involved a lot more, right? We don't get some of the things that we would get from a Trossard and some of the things that we would get from a Jesus, but I think that the overall package gives us what we need because Trossard plays much better outright, and maybe Jesus will play a lot better out outright. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Than what we've seen from him. So yeah, that's my take on Havertz. I still think it's a lot of money for him. But you know what? It was a lot of money for Ben White too.
Weekly as
So
well.
we're fine with it now. So yeah.
As BX said here, Havertz won a lot of possession in midfield with aerial duels, winning the ball back and physicality, but his link up.
His previous comment, BX's previous comment made me chuckle because initially when I heard that we were getting Havertz, I would have jumped at taking Joselu initially.
Yeah, isn't that strange? That works out right. Yeah. And BX is also in there. Kai seems a player reborn and performing for club and country. And I think he's going to do some damage in these European Championships as well.
And that was the one thing about our team. It was easy
if he's not at left back.
Easy plug and play for him. He just had to get fit into the right spot and he'd be all right because we had more than enough pieces all around the pitch. We had a couple of holes we wanted to fill, right? Just a couple, like 2 holes, right? Striker and that one spot in the midfield, right? That we knew if it's Partey, we're happy, but he's not available. So we always had that hole in the midfield and then that striker. So, I hope, he's filled one of the spots. We'll see if he's holding on to it when the transfer period ends. But yeah.
BX says put Jesus in midfield and call it a day. Timber, Jesus, Martinelli left side. I'm not so sure about the calls for Jesus in midfield. Here we go, Brownie. But you always have to worry about what comes after this. Guys, I love you all. But the amount of points Arsenal got both last season and this season, you could have won the league. City cheated. So why are people wanting improvement as can't beat the cheats?
It's not just the Premier League though. That's the thing you got to remember. For me, anyways, it's 4 fronts that we need to compete on. We can't do that without improving. Mm-hmm. That means us being much better clinically, us being much better deeper squad, all of those things. Because we also, I think everybody here would say, it's time for us to win a European trophy as well.
Yes.
So, and that's not going to happen.
I'm not going to say no
right now. Right?
Not going to say no. And look, in this era, you have to break 90 points to be taken seriously in conversations in this era.
And we have 2 minutes to answer Brownie as well. We have to keep improving because some of our second string players, to me, are third string. So we haven't got a decent bench yet.
No.
We've got a decent 13. It's not enough.
16. I'd go to 16. But
who are the 16?
You're being generous.
Who are the 16? Let me give you.
Sorry, who are the 5 that?
I'll give you 5. It's going to be a goalkeeper, right?
No, because we don't have one right now. So
all right, I'll give it to you. Martinelli, Kivior, Tomiyasu, right? Jorginho.
Timber's starting. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all defensive, aren't they? They're all defensive.
Jesus. There you go. There's 5, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, Gary.
No. You're right. No, my thing is does Jesus know that he is a bench player coming off the bench?
That's up to Arteta to make that clear to him.
Very expensive bench player.
Lawrence, exactly. Lawrence, you get to pick the next player, Lawrence.
I'm going to pick an unsung hero because I've been really impressed by him. Ben White.
Ben White,
unsung
hero. Okay. Yeah.
I just think, I wasn't at all convinced when we signed him, and he was one of them players that he put in a shift, but you never noticed him. Considering he's been played out of position, but he's just been outstanding. He was just outstanding. And he's got his fair share of goals for us as well. And for him I
think he's finding some assists as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
for him to tell, and I admire him for telling Gareth Southgate to go and do one when he was picked for the England squad. That takes a lot of cojones, as a certain ex-Watford player used to say.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've been really impressed. I really thought he had a standout season, Ben White.
And he's going to get plenty of rest this summer and come back, really fresh and revitalized, which is great.
Come back nice and fresh. Exactly. The high for me, Ben White high, where he scored that goal against Chelsea when he didn't quite mean to score that goal against Chelsea.
No, he meant that. Come on. That's it in training every day.
That one against Sheffield United wasn't bad as well.
It's a banger on his left foot as well.
Yeah.
Banger after banger after banger. I like it.
And then a banger to Southgate as well. There you go.
Seamus.
What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up Ben White because I saw something on Twitter in regards to best returns by a defensive asset. Number one on the list, top of the list, actually top three on the list, all hail from the Emirates Stadium.
What was the stat, Gary? I missed it. How many?
Return by defensive assets. So basically defenders on the team and what they return back to the squad in regards in goals, assists, clean sheets, and I think penalty saves.
So you're
and
saying
Arsenal holds 4 of the top 6 spots.
Nice.
Ben White sits top of the list with 4 goals, 5 assists, and 18 clean sheets.
Wow. Has he taken Trent's?
Trent is not on. No, Trent is. He's Trent's 2 behind. He's behind Raya as far as spots. Raya is sitting in 5th
He's not a defender,
spot,
is he? He's a midfielder.
Yeah, well, he got him. They have him as a defender in here. But you know what? Like I said, you got Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel on that list. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Right. The only difference is Ben scores more than they do, which is probably, I think Gabriel showed that he can score too. Like he got that goal taken back by Ben White, which is that's probably what, now that I think about it, Ben White took away one of Gabriel's goals, which would have been one of the highlights of the season. Right? He like that volley from Gabriel. So
you meant that.
So
I'd like to see, Gary. I'd like to see that stat next season where we've got the top 3, but then the 4th one is made up by whoever comes in and plays solidly at left back. So we have a whole back 4 taking up the whole of those those entries.
You saw Timber's goal when he came back for the U18s or U21s, right? So so we could have something like that because clean sheets should be a thing that we consistently do. But no, Ben White positives all around. One of our more consistent players. It's hard for me to find any negatives in his game except for maybe it would be nice to have a right back to give him a little bit of a spell him sometimes because we need rotation for our guys. They don't have to play all 80 games and stuff like that. He did come out for some part of the season, I think, early, but he pretty much ran through the gauntlet towards the end. But Ben White's goal really nice. But yeah, the stare that he has in the tunnel before the game, and then basically
it's like
any free
I want
kick.
To eat your children.
Yeah,
the way he looks at him.
And then think about it. Any free kick, where does the camera go?
Or corner.
Any corner, it goes to Ben White because drama's about to happen because he knows.
He looks like he's constantly trying to measure up the goalkeeper for a new suit with a tape measure. It's all over him. Bits of chalk. Do you know what I mean? He's like, get off me. I love it.
Ben White, I like that. So Ben White, really good. Not too many negatives to say. The fact that we had 18 clean sheets was pretty much one of the reasons for that. One of the many reasons for that is a testament.
What about any calling out any Ben White shithousery moments?
Yeah, he's fine.
He's
doing all right.
That opposite fans, when they watch the match, either on TV or at the game, and it goes to like a corner, I bet they're pointing at the TV and go, look at him getting away with that. And I would do the same. But you know what? He may be a bit of a shithead when it comes to that, but he's our shithead. And I'm happy about it.
I wonder if he got I can't pronounce the player's name, the Tottenham keeper's gloves after the game.
Yeah, he's what's the Tottenham?
Was he loosening the straps, right?
Yes. Yes. And then the fact that Tottenham were not even clever enough to coach themselves to know what Ben White was going to do during games and go into a big North London Derby. We're gonna stop them. We're gonna beat them, you know. And we turn up and get 2 set piece. What do you call them? Set peaches, goals.
Pet peaches.
Right? 2 set
Set
peaches.
piece goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, that shithousery, I love it. Sometimes he can get away with it with referees, but hopefully the Premier League referees are not clever enough that they haven't caught on to him yet for next season. Yeah, they just go, "Oh, you Ben! Oh, you Ben!"
Yeah, he's
You
got such a
naughty
cute
boy.
face. You're like, you.
I just can't. Next time.
The ref is thinking, how can I book a man with such a fantastic tan as this guy? I mean, it'd be criminal.
And such sexy eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that lovely crucifix earring that dangles. I mean, how can you?
All right. I'm gonna go to Gary then next.
All right,
for your
next.
pick,
So
Gary.
let's see. We went Havertz. We went. Do we go midfield?
We've got White, we've got Martinelli, we've got Havertz. We went midfield if you count Havertz.
All right, let's go. Let's go better with the midfield then. Let's go with, not better, but let's just go with another midfielder. Go with Erdogan.
Oh,
Yeah,
Martin.
Martin.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Are there any lows?
You know what?
It's hard to find lows.
You know what?
with a
Okay,
lot
here's
of
the lows.
players, right?
Here's the lows because it's the same thing I said last season.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go,
Here we
what?
go.
You're gonna go, what?
Telling it, Tony.
He needs to score more. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but he needs to score more because
What did he get this season?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He might have got 9.
I'll have a look.
I think.
Keep
He might
talking,
have
I'll
got 9
have
or
a look.
10.
Oh, you know what? I have it here.
Have a look.
Eight goals and 10 assists.
So
It's not bad.
no. He is better than that.
No.
So yes, maybe I'm putting more on his plate, but last year he got 15, and I believe he easily could have got 20 if he'd just taken some shots.
Do
when
you
he
think
pulls up.
But do you think it could be a tinkering with the formation, which means that he's not been able to score as many as he did in that season?
He is in positions to shoot and he doesn't. Is what I'm not talking about where, well, if he does this extra. No, I'm talking about take it one time, take the shot, as opposed to maybe trap it and then make the pass. You know, like sometimes we need people to open up the defense, and they're not going to do that when we stop the ball and let them settle, right? And I believe he's got a really good foot on him. So for me, I think he needs to score more. So like if there's a negative, because it's not that many, that would be one for me. He needs to score more because guess what happens? There's a lot of times we're looking at games and we're like, we need to get a goal from somewhere else. He's the somewhere else for me because he's the one that has the ball a lot. You know, especially right on that 18 mark, right? Right on that box, right on the outside of that box. And sometimes we need somebody who's clinical with their foot to put his foot through it. So for me, that's his negative. But positively, he's the man at the top of the press, right? Getting everybody up there. And the reason why our defense is so good, some people say, is because it starts from the top. Well, it starts from Martin then, right?
He does.
I mean, you see him with the ball at his feet. On top of that, he's really clean with the way he moves the ball around. He makes, like if you've seen any of like the movement that he has with the ball, just moving the ball around and making people look silly. He can do that. That for me, if you can do that, then you should be able to put a ball into the net from 18 feet out, right? So So for me, I think that's why I want him to score more. But in general, more and more of a leader for our team than he was the previous year. That's what we need from him. He just needs to, for me, he needs to be a double man. Maybe get close to that 20 assist mark, but definitely double digits on the goals as well for me. He's got it in him. And
that's where we're headed, though.
But also the other part.
Maradona.
But on the other side of that is he needs to be screaming at his fellas, right? When he puts that ball in a good spot for them and they don't finish, they need to like turn their face because they know he's looking at them, staring them down because he does give them opportunities and they're wasteful, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I managed to get 40 goals a season on FIFA out of Odegaard, but I do play on beginner setting. So.
Yes, it always helps. Colonel Ward said, "Hi guys, how we doing? Makes my day getting to see Stan in high definition."
Oh, there you go.
There you go. 4K, baby.
There's somebody out there for everybody. That's what I always say. It was insane. Hopefully, people get off Martinelli's back for a bit. Bargov's here. Welcome, Bargov. The sporting assist for Odegaard was probably his highlight. I'll
Good
agree
shout.
with that one. That's
Good shout.
the way he maneuvered that ball to get that ball in Trossard. And we did get out of the last 16 and into a quarter final. I'm going back to the Man United game. We went to goal down against Rashford and equalized immediately through one of those shots that Gary's talking about with Odegaard. He's still not doing enough. The system is built for him.
Think about it. That's the thing about our team. We complain about goals and all this stuff. And guess what? Saka struggled. Erdegaard doesn't give me enough. Martinelli had a down year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jesus gave us not anywhere near what we need, right? So
No.
we've got that's a four attackers not giving us what we expect. So we've got room to grow.
Stan, anything on we haven't mentioned on Odegaard or just add to?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think some good points made by all, and I'm enjoying him. I'm enjoying him as being our captain and being the face of the club.
And I
still think it was such a steal to get him for 35 million.
That assist for Havertz in the Chelsea home game as well, world class. And it made my nephew kind of upset because I'm like, Kevin De Bruyne, step aside. Odegaard can do stuff like that as well. You know what I mean? And
that's the one skill you said right there. That once in a while, KDB will make that shot, right? That free
good
kick,
on the free kick as
all
well.
that kind of stuff, right? So that's what he's going to bring. That's what he's going to need to bring to us to complete the all the check boxes on his list of what he can do, right? So.
Yeah, our captain Lawrence Odegaard.
Yeah, he needs to get the Ozil habits out of his game, where he dwells on the ball and lays it off to someone when he's got a better opportunity to score himself. I can't disagree with anything else about him. I still can't believe he's playing for us, because when he first came onto the scene, there were talks about him joining Liverpool and Manchester United. And for him to come to us for such a low fee is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
you can see he is a silky player when he's on the ball. That left foot of his reminds me a lot of a certain Irishman in my heyday when I used to follow Arsenal as a kid, Liam Brady. There's so many.
Eddie McGoldrick, no?
No, he's so similar to Liam Brady.
Oh, Quinn?
Yeah, David Hillier. So he's so similar to Liam Brady when he played for us.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Brady was so skillful on the ball. When he got the ball, nobody could get it off him because it was like the ball was stuck to his foot like a magnet.
Yeah.
And that's what you see with Odegaard as well. My only criticism is he's got to increase his goal input and get out of the nasty Ozil habit of always trying to lay on the ball for someone else when he can do it himself. What was that?
I just say, Lawrence, we forgot to tell you when you joined us, that word you keep saying, that's banned on this podcast. The one that begins with O.
Oh, well, okay, am I on the list? Am I on the list?
I'm not going to put you on the list, but I'll put you on the list if it happens again. But we don't. Every time you say it, my fucking heart keeps like.
Maybe Lawrence wants to make the list.
It's true. That's the only negative about his game. Which is, he's like that. He's like Ozil. When he always has to.
You're on the fucking list now.
Brownie.
Now you're on the fucking list. No pen, you're on it.
Put Brownie on there too. Brady won the FA Cup, Brownie. Put some respect on his name.
Be careful, Stan. I'll get Tony to take care of you.
FA Cup 79. Listen, I didn't see Brady. I would have liked to have seen more of Brady in his heyday as well.
I started supporting Arsenal.
Exactly. Could have been Crystal Palace then.
Could have been
Crystal Palace. I think Saka is in the winger because he doesn't have raw pace, but could see him as an attacking midfielder. Okay, that's Odegaard, and I think we're think we want to see what Gary's saying: more and more goal output, control more games, and continue to lead the press at the front. He's the
Very good at
general.
that.
He's Arteta's general on the field. He leads the press, and I think he's a very intelligent player in that respect. Stan, you get the next pick.
Well, the next pick for me, it's kind of a similar trend to the first pick that I had with Kai Havertz. So I'm going to go with David Raya. Because again, when he first came into the side, it was murders, wasn't it? The fan base was all over the place. The Aaron Ramsdale, a lot of people still wanted to keep him. And, when he first started, it must have been a lot of pressure on the lad as well. He probably, he's got ears. He probably realised that he was going up against a fan favourite, which is basically what Ramsdale was, right? It's a fan favourite. He had to go up against that. But for me, the turning point, when he saved those 2 penalties, I mean, I never expect a goalkeeper to save a penalty. I just don't. If I was the manager of a football club and it's my team that's taking the penalty, I expect the ball to be put on target. At least put the ball on target. It's not that far away. But on the other side, if it's the goalkeeper, I don't expect him to save it. If they do, it's a bonus. Mm-hmm. And for him to save 2 in that shootout, that for me made my eyebrow go right up. I was like, okay, I like this guy. Because it's difficult to do that. And then to follow up and actually win a personal trophy of getting the Golden Glove, case closed. He's the right man for the job.
Yeah.
So a low and a high there, low of him coming in and how it was perceived. But I think definitely again ended the season on a high by getting the Golden Glove and being able to do things like showcase saving penalties.
Yeah, and there's a big difference in perception between a Champions League quarterfinal finish or a round of 16. I think we're generally happy with what we did in Europe based off of winning that penalty shootout and getting us to the last 8.
Those 2 penalties, you can probably equate it to several million.
Yeah,
what it actually made for the club, right? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know the difference between the 2 rounds, but it's probably quite a chunk of change there. You know what I mean? Lawrence, what are your thoughts on David Raya? We know you're a Ramsdale guy, Lawrence.
A Ramsdaleite. Is that a word?
A Ramsdaleite.
A Ramsdale.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to take my hat off to him. 18 clean sheets.
Yeah.
No keeper ever does that. Not even the likes of Edison or Allison could get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was a bit concerned because, with due respect to Brentford, he came from average Premier League side, so I was a bit concerned about the pressure he'd be under. But he's made me eat my words because, as you know, I still feel like Ramsdale has been treated badly by Arteta. But the man has kept 18 clean sheets. What else can you say about him? Mm-hmm. And as I said, that penalty shootout win against Porto, is virtually down to him.
Yeah. I got to go for the low point as well, where the mix-up in the home game against Bayern Munich, now that I'm thinking about it, comes out from his goal. I would put part of that on David Raya as well, if I'm being harsh. And Gary's going to come in as well. The penalty save for David Raya, and maybe a little bit of a nod to Mikel Arteta, high and low. Maybe Mikel Arteta's low was mentioning the idea of substituting a goalkeeper in the season. Not his best thing this season in regards to David Raya. Gary, take it away. Your thoughts on David Raya, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's weird because a lot of his good positives are him coming in and basically collecting everything that comes across. As far as crosses, he's really good at it.
Yes.
But then him coming off his line is where he's messed up as well. So he's got different, he's got positives and negatives, and I think Arteta, it kind of set him up in the beginning didn't, at least it seemed like didn't give him the right confidence that, guess what, doesn't matter, just go out there and play some football. Because he looked a little shy out there, also trying to figure things out. I think he still has a couple of weak spots in his game that, hopefully he'll be able to work out. But in general, he's good for us on the attack. Getting that ball back out there, clearing the crosses, like I said. I think it was the last game? I think it was the last game of the season where I think there's a deflection of Rice that goes in.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
a lot were complaining because he was never going to get to that ball if it got past Rice. He was so late on his decision making. Like, if you look at it, he didn't even move towards where the ball was going. Like that, if that ball got over the wall, he would have just watched it go in because he didn't have a clue as to what was happening there. So it didn't look good. But otherwise, like I said, his little things he's got to work on. He'll come back even more confident this time. Yeah, what's funny? Guess who's 30 feet away from me right now? It's that man.
Oh, great.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Say
that's
again?
his thing.
Big difference between 9:30 and 2:30.
Is in the house. Let's just say that.
Did he fly in today?
I came in early this week, Tuesday.
Okay,
Who's it?
so he's over.
Who's it?
Over,
Your relation?
My dad.
Oh.
My dad.
over the jet lag then.
Yeah, he's over I think he's over the jet lag.
Thanks for coming in, Mr. Howell.
Even when I left
Good to
this
have you
morning
in.
at like 7, he was still passed out in the bed. So, yeah. So I guess that's good.
Nice to have you in the house, Mr. Howell.
There you go.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. Yeah, but like I said, for Ray, he made mistakes, but I think everybody's made mistakes, and sometimes their mistakes don't show up as big because their mistakes are missed opportunities and shots. His are essentially goals, right? He barely makes a mistake that doesn't get unpunished because he's in he's the last line of defense, right? So, but I think he's done well.
Yeah.
I still, I think Arteta didn't get better with the goalkeeper because he just moves, kind of moves some chairs around on the back deck. You know what I mean? We still have issues. He still has things in his game that needs to be worked out. So he didn't you want to bring a Rice in, right? Now that we know we can bring a Rice in, that's what we need, right? We got some issues we need to solve. Can we get somebody with all the answers, right? That's kind of what we need.
Yeah.
But I don't think goalkeeper wasn't our problem to begin with. But
I still like Bernardo.
No, like I said, I don't think any of our goalkeepers had something not that they weren't 100%, right? They weren't going to be an Allison or
So
a level goalkeeper. So unless you're going to get somebody like that, they're going to all have holes in their game.
here's the question, Ben.
Yeah.
Do you think all of you, and Gary first, do you think Raya can win us the Champions League? Is he the level of an Ederson or Allison? Can he be? Behind our defense
level, but
as well.
I think but I believe we're, what Arteta's tried to set up in terms of a squad and a team, let's say team right now, the squad's not there yet. It can compete. I believe it can compete. And he has things in Arteta's game that he has to work on. So this is a learning process all around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the problem. It's going to take some time for everything to click at the same time.
And as Colonel said, we have the best defense in the league. Left back may be an area of concern, but I think we may be able to lock that down.
First 3 games of the season, 3 different left backs.
Yeah.
We didn't lose any of those games.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey at right back.
Yeah.
You asked Gary, right, whether he felt that, is David Raya going to be able to, do more for us compared to, say, an Ederson or Allison?
Yes.
And my answer to that is that on David Raya's mantelpiece right now is a Golden Glove. There's not one on Ederson or Allison's for last season. And so, I mean, what more can you ask? So basically, over the course of a league, as a goalkeeper for individual performance, he performed better than those two. He performed better than anybody else in the league.
Let's not forget we were the best defense in the league.
It also helps when you've got a quality defense in front of you, right, working with you as a unit, and we have that as well.
Yeah. All right, and look, let's address the early doors. The goal against Mudrick. Sometimes there can be a ball put in that is just the goalkeeper is never going to get to it, and it's going to end up in that back corner over the goalkeeper's head. You
But
could
we're
question.
taking Ben White's shot, right?
I
That
would,
went in.
yeah, we're
We're
thinking
taking
Ben
that
White,
one.
but
So
I'm also
Mudrick,
thinking Mudrick.
some would say would be similar, or
Yes.
at least similar to it. So we're taking Ben White's goal, and we're taking Saka's goal 2 or 3 years ago with
Yeah.
his left foot. I think it was, or his right foot, right
Yeah.
across the goal. So I think once in a while they hit it right, and there's not much you can do about it. All right.
Exactly. A goalkeeper,
Right.
Lawrence.
Yeah. What about the one against Tottenham when he passed the ball straight
Sure.
to
Yeah.
Romero?
Yeah. Probably a low point in his season as well, where you're intending to do something.
I think I blocked that one out.
Yeah. You're
I'm sure that
intending
if you
to
look
make
at other
a pass.
keepers in the league as well, though, other top keepers, you will have seen them make a similar error during the course of the season.
Allison.
It does
The
happen.
error that Allison made and Van Dijk made against us at the Emirates as well. You just wouldn't think that those two would then make that mistake.
A goalkeeper will pass the ball out to maybe a fullback, and then the fullback doesn't realise that somebody's already on top of him and loses the ball, but we all shout at the keeper, why'd you pass it back to him for?
Yeah.
But the fullback is equally maybe to blame for not getting rid of it. But these mistakes are going to happen.
Like the
Wahi. We just need to make sure that we have less of them.
Yeah. So who picked David Raya? Stan? Was that you? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Lawrence, your turn.
Okay. Have we mentioned Leandro Trossard?
No, we have not.
No.
Oh,
there's low points.
Yeah. My opinion of him is, I don't know. He's on and off. He's more beneficial to us when he's an impact player coming off the bench. I don't know what it is, but there are sometimes when he starts a game, he just goes AWOL. You just don't see him at all, and he seems to be better when he's on the bench, and the game is in deadlock on 70 minutes, and then Arteta brings him on, and he changes the whole game for us.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one. I keep telling people he's better off as an impact player for us than he is when he starts the game.
I used to think that for quite a while, Lawrence. I was in the same camp, but when he started to fill in for Martinelli, I thought that he started to come a little bit good over a 90-minute period or a 70-minute period or however before he got subbed. But I used to think the same, that he was better as an impact player. Yeah. So I'm on the fence with him now.
No, but you see him going to Old Trafford and combining with making that late run, like Lundberg used to do, like Perez used to do, getting on the end of balls as well. And that was in the 24th, 25th minute up at Old Trafford.
Good finisher.
I think he's getting a little bit Ronnie Rosenthal, if you know what I mean. They always thought Ronnie Rosenthal was a.
I've heard behind the scenes that he's had words with the manager about lack of playing time. He seems to be the kind of player. I mean, when we bought him, he was out of the squad at Brighton, and I don't think that he's a troublemaker as such. But a little bit like Ben White, he's his own man, and he's not afraid to maybe say to a manager, "Hey, why am I not being used?" Some players will probably feel that way, not say it to the manager, maybe say to their pal, when they're on the massage bench, how unhappy they are, but they won't say it to the manager. Trossard, I think, is someone that doesn't have a problem, going to the manager and having a chat with him.
BX kind of says, I don't know why, but I get Nasri vibes from Trossard. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, BX. Please explain your comment. Please expand a little bit further upon that. Was Nasri good or was Nasri bad in the end? You know what I mean? Gary, Trossard.
Yeah, you know what? Because as soon as Lawrence said, he's an impact player for us, I chuckle because I thought the same thing as well. But he starts in terms of goals scored this year for Arsenal. He starts, he scores 10. He comes off the bench, he scores 7. So he can do both. Let's just say that. It's not one or the other. He's actually better when he starts in terms of games played and all of that. So I kind of feel like, he gets that. Yes, he's good when he comes off the bench, but last season he scored 10 times as a starter for us and only 7. So
Yeah.
I think he can do both, which I think is where I think Arteta needs to make sure he gets into the game. That's the thing. I think sometimes Arteta may leave. Like there's no reason I believe that he shouldn't play every game, whether he starts or comes off the bench.
Bargoff.
All right.
Bargoff doesn't know what to make of him. Next year is important for him, but he did it last year as well. It was just more assists.
I like the
than
way that
goals.
he's got 17 goals and he's knocking on the manager's door and asking for more. I like that.
Yeah.
He wants more.
And the thing about it, last year he gave us almost double digits in assists for like half
he
a
flipped
season.
it around the
And
other
this
way.
season he turns around and does that, so he can do both, right? Assist man or a goal man, if whatever's needed.
What were his numbers last season?
About the same, but flipped around.
Yeah.
He got probably 1 goal but 12 assists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that for me is his positives. He is I would say outside of Saka, one of our best attackers in the sense of output and stuff like that.
You want to see it balanced.
Yeah, he doesn't play as much, but I think he deserves to play a lot more. The only negative he's got is something he can't do anything about. Doesn't have the pace of a Martinelli. So, and he's had some close misses in the box that would have helped us, right?
Sure.
I think it was in the Bayern Munich game, where he was in the box and, you think from point blank range he's going to put that away, but he wasn't able to, I think, in that game. So, and that for me, he just, like I said, needs more games. You're seeing it when he plays for Belgium, right? Who's scoring? He's scoring, right? So it's trickling off what these players are doing for Arsenal and what they're doing for their international teams as well. So for him, I don't think there's much negative I could say on his game. Because when he gets to play, he shows us, and we miss him. We miss it when he's not out there playing.
My missus, every time she sees him, she says that he looks really sickly. She keeps talking about like having his vitamin C and a bit of iron, and he'd be fine.
Yeah,
it's like it's like one of those little Victorian orphan boys,
sunken eyes a little bit. Yeah, he looks a little bit dehydrated. Maybe you're drinking
Oliver
too much
Twist.
coffee. Drinking too much coffee. You need some more water instead of coffee. You know what I mean? But the Anne Hathaway thing. Anne Hathaway loves him, so that's all. It's good. It's all good if Anne Hathaway likes Leandro Trossard. So there you go. Catwoman, exactly. All right. Gary's next, right? It was Lawrence picked Trossard.
All right. So you know what? We haven't done it yet, so we might as well start there. Let's go to let's go there.
You going there?
Let's go there. Where do you think
is it a carb? Are you going to pick a carb?
I think I know where Gary's going.
A carb. Well, why do I not know what that means?
The surname is a carb. The surname is a carb. You are not good at trivia, Gary.
No, I am really bad at it now. You got me. Surname is a carb.
Help him out, Stan. Lawrence.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I just think that
should have declared for Ireland.
And Gary said, "Okay, should we go there? Let's go." I'm thinking, okay, what can that mean? I've got 2 players in mind that I think where he's going to
Gary could go in any which way.
Now I want to know what you mean, but no, I was actually thinking, you know what we've done Ben White, we've done. We haven't done Rice yet, but I was going to do one of the center backs.
That's the carb, Rice.
Yeah. I was going to go with one of our center backs. Oh, that's the carb. You're right. Now I was going to go with one of the center backs because talked about Ben White.
Colonel Ward knew. Colonel Ward knew.
Yeah, and you know what? My mind went blank.
There are levels to this guy.
Rice would have been a good one, but I'm going to go with like I said, one of the center backs. I'm going to go with for me Gabriel.
Gabriel Magalhaes, our warrior.
Yes. I guess the one negative I'm going to say about his game for me, or what happened this year, is why did he get caught looking at Saudi? Because that's the
Yeah.
only thing that really I think hurt him. For me, is
Was
he
he?
didn't get those.
What
Well,
happened then?
supposedly
Was
that's
Gary
what
has accepted it now, Stan.
that's
Gary
what
has
that's
Hang
accepted
on, let me understand this, right? If Saudi, put an official bid in or made an inquiry,
yeah.
was Mega Legs thinking, yeah, I'm up for that. I want to talk to him.
Well,
or
you
was
know
he,
what? I'm going by what
sure.
his nephew
Maybe
said.
the club was.
What did his nephew say?
His nephew up there on the top left next to me basically said his head was turned, and that's why he was sitting out for those first 2 games. That's what his nephew
What does that
said.
mean? His head was turned. He was interested.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I can only go by what his
He
nephew
wouldn't be able to
said.
do his job properly.
Why?
wouldn't be
Because he
able to
was
perform.
interested.
Like if you go on
If
the
you're like,
airplane,
nah,
and
mate,
say,
you're having a laugh. I ain't gonna go and put out there.
if you sit at the exit,
It
if you
doesn't,
sit at the exit doors of a plane, you're expected to perform the duties of evacuating people. He
Yeah, but
wasn't
it's like,
capable.
listen, let me try and put it this way. It's like if Gemma Collins, right, said she was interested in going out on a date with me, my head wouldn't be turned. I can still operate normally because it's Gemma
Well,
Collins.
you know what?
Now,
I'm with you on that one.
if it was Gal Gadot, maybe there's some head turning going on here. That's what I'm trying to say. His head was turned to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Now, for me,
Really?
that was that was the only kind of that was one of the main negatives for me, is that he didn't start the league the way we wanted him to on the field. I mean, he does have some lapses, but you're going to have that when if Saliba's going to play 38 and he played 36, right? They both would have played 38 if Arteta, hadn't made that decision. So I kind of feel like he was the unsung hero. I think a lot of people will look at Saliba because Saliba is who Saliba is. And you know what? Gabriel is right next to him. You just don't see him because Saliba is so big. He shines brighter. But Gabriel also does his own, he brings his own to this table. And the clean sheets have a lot to do with him. He's got his foot in a lot of blocks, right? We see it. If you've seen some of the highlights, he's got his foot blocking balls and whatnot. They both complement each other perfectly. Saliba will do a lot of the cleanup. When something breaks down, he's there to clean things up. And Martinelli does. Gabriel does his thing as well. I at some points he was the better center back for us during this season. All right.
Yes.
When Saliba was struggling, sometimes it was Gabriel, backing him up, and vice versa. They both kind of backed each other up. So for me, that like I said, the only negative, like he had few negatives, and the bonehead moves and stuff that he has done in the past. I think we don't see them as much now because I don't think we don't put him in those type of situations anymore. Yeah. Right? As a squad, we don't get put in bad situations as much as we have in the past, right?
We put them in a position to succeed.
So how often are teams running through our defense? Not often, right? It happens, few and far between. But yeah, no, Gabriel is my guy.
And Colonel might be right. It may not have been the player. The player might not have been interested, but the club might have thought about it for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe the club thought about it. What a fantastic player. I mean, the guy who's going to roll his sleeves up and take, when you look at the opposing team and you have the imposing striker, he's going to roll up his sleeves and tell the rest of his teammates, I've got that guy. He's the guy who's most likely to score against us. And I'm gonna snuff him out, negate him, and stop him from scoring against us. And that would have been Erling Haaland. We stopped him twice. It would have been, big physical players like Ivan Toney, even Rashford. The timing of the offside to put Garnacho offside at home against Man United, a razor thin line of movement there, because we could have easily lost to Man United in that game. That Eric Ten Hag reminds us about that every week. But yeah, Gabriel Magalhaes, Stan, Lawrence, who wants to go first?
I think he's one of our most improved players as well, because he used to have a little bit of a rashness about him, didn't he? Just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
With the costume. And he seems to have been able to have curbed that. He seems to have worked on that. This last season, yeah, good shout. The Brazilian Keown. Last season, he seemed to still have an edge to his game, but without costing him or costing us in games. You know, it's very hard to tell them apart, Saliba and Megalegs, you know, which is the better one, because they work so well together. It's such a perfect unit, you know. You can maybe think of them as one unit there, you know.
And that's perfect again. I'll say it again, BX Scanner. The Brazilian Keown. There's a lot of Martin Keown in Gabriel Magalhaes. Loved the he loves the physical intensity of being physical. Yeah, and better teeth as well. Sorry, Martin. Lawrence, that goal up at Anfield is one of his highlights, and I know you were ruining the possibility of that goal against Bournemouth being chalked off for Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah. I mean, I think Gary and Stan have virtually said what I would say. You know, I mean, I don't know who it was against, but there was a game near the end of the season when we went on that run of not conceding for a whole month.
Yeah.
And he blocked the ball and he treated it like it was the winning goal. I don't know if you remember the incident. I can't remember who it was against.
Brentford, I would like to say Brentford. Right.
Yeah. He
Brighton. It was at Brighton. It was at Brighton. We were 3-0 up. Yeah.
Yeah, and he put his body in front of the ball and he blocked it.
Yeah.
And he was celebrating with Raya and Saliba as if it was the winning goal.
Yep.
And you know, when I look at him and Saliba, I see similarities to Tony Adams and Sol Campbell and Frank McClintock and Peter Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stalwarts in the Arsenal defence, you know. And you can't pick a fault with either one of them. You know, yeah, they do make the occasional blip, but doesn't every footballer.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I've got to say is, and excuse my ignorance, but who's Gemma Collins? I've never heard of her.
Google is your friend.
I see a Google search in your future, Lawrence.
Google is your friend. Trust me, there's no head turning going on.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right. I've never heard of her. With due respect, whoever she is, I never heard of her, so I was just curious.
Me neither. All right. That was Gabriel Magalhaes, the goal up at Anfield. Yeah, I think our talisman, as much as any of the other players could be leaders on the field, he's the guy who shows it each and every time.
It's a far turn from when he scuffed up the spot in the City Mets 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, he's matured a lot, Gary.
Yeah.
Even thinking about that, I mean, nobody had seen that before. It was a little bit of shit.
Chips in the goals, man. Really chips in the goals, which is, you know, for the centre back and Saliba, they're both chipping with goals.
Yeah, exactly. Colonel said, if Arsenal sell all the targets and we get Koundé, Onana, Nico Williams, Zirkzee, can any of you honestly see us lining up in the 4-4-2 next year?
Stan's been asking for that
He's
for a very long time.
For a day. He's
coming back.
Lawrence, next player. Who have you got?
Well, am I invisible?
Next player.
Oh, I thought you picked Gabriel Magalhaes.
I pick Gabriel.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I do apologize.
So I'm gonna pick a player. I kind of wanted to pick two at the same time because I know that we're supposed to be talking about highlights. I'll take Tony's. I know we're supposed to be and Alonso.
I was going to say put Ray on your list. Hey, Ray, I think you should go on Stan's list for blanking him out just now.
Yeah, as just to answer BX Gunner, Ben Jacobs has just said the English transfer window is officially open, so it is midnight over there in the UK.
Know what? A little side note: I think it's ridiculous that the window opens on the same day that the European Championships start. Anyway, side note. All right, Stan, pick one, and we'll see about the second.
Because we're not really talking about highs and lows, because a lot of our players had such a good season.
Yeah.
Really. So, and I was looking at players. I wanted to identify the 2 players that we brought in for Man City as what I would call just lows, to be fair. In the same way that if people say that, we've evolved past the Kieran Tierney, I think we've definitely evolved past the 2 lads that we brought in from Man City. And for me, one of the biggest problems is Gabriel Jesus, because of the money that he gets a week. If he does get a second string role behind a forward, whether it's Kai Havertz or someone we bring in, or he's also going to play back up to the right hand side, he's being paid a lot of money to be a backup. So I think at some point, I don't know if it's going to happen in this window, but just to have a peaceful economy, at some point you're going to have to move Gabriel Jesus on. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't be looking for a forward in the first place, would we? We wouldn't.
No.
We're looking for a forward. For what reason? He's not being able to provide the goals. It's as simple as that.
No, he's had
for whatever reason.
Very poor.
Yeah. I think at some point we're going to have to look. So if we can't get rid of him in the summer, January, we really have to be actively looking to move him on, purely because of what he's getting paid if he's not going to be a starter. And with Zinchenko, I just think that, for him to not even get picked ahead of other players in a Champions League round of 16, kind of shows you where he is in the pecking order. So I think that, just talking about lows of the season, I would put those 2 kind of like in the same lump.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were doing with the 2 picks, but I understand now you're coupling them together as Man City players. Bargav said, wish he didn't rush back after World Cup. Jesus has not been the same. The criticism against Gabriel Jesus is that his numbers have always been paltry. His numbers
it's not like he's not a hard worker. You can see the effort. Yeah. You can see that he wants to be a part of things. So it's not like we have that kind of a problem. It's just that he has so much. He could be a world beater, because you see him deep, winning the ball in deep areas, sometimes setting someone else off on the attack. And then before you know what's going on, he makes himself available in the box to get on the end of something.
Yeah, it's harsh to say. He's an upgraded Lacazette.
Yet he puts it wide or straight at the keeper. Or even if he's getting up to head it, it goes over the... Do you know what I'm getting at? He does everything else. If he had that one piece, he'd be a world beater, because he can win the ball from deep.
It's a little bit like...
And he'd get back into the box and be ready to be on the end of it. But
yeah. He's a little bit like a better Lacazette, higher quality, better Alexander.
For this league,
in this league. In the French league, if Gabriel Jesus goes to the French league, he might, get 20, 25 goals. Who knows? But yeah, and Zinchenko, it's been such a patchy season for him as well. And I think the biggest compliment maybe you can give Arsenal and Arteta is that we've evolved past, as you said, the likes of Tierney, David Luiz, on to and through Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus now. You know what I mean? BX said at City he had 95 goals in 5 years as a component, but not the main goal scorer. Yeah.
Do you not think as well, when he went to City, when Jesus went to City and the main man was Aguero, I think it was at the beginning he was brought in to be the next person after Aguero, to learn, to learn his trade, come on and blah, blah, blah. But they very soon realised that they had to go in other directions.
Yeah. Yeah. Still annoys me, Zinni, as if you play him next to Rice instead of left back. Here's a future, but Mikel doesn't want to try it. And we're never going to see Zinchenko as that midfielder. He created so much pressure and chances. Crazy. He's only 28 or 27. So, Lawrence, Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko.
Well, I mean, I read the other day that Jesus is already in pre-season training. He's training to get fit again.
Yeah.
So
nice to hear.
yeah.
Can't blame the effort.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jesus can offer a lot more to us if he has an injury-free season. He's been a bit unlucky with the injuries in the last couple of years. And when he came to us and he had that great start, I thought, blimey, well, this is what we've been looking for.
Agreed.
And then he just lost his way. He picked up injuries, and he just lost form, and it continued last season as well. And I just think, if he can stay injury free, he could be a great asset to us. Because I could see a player who could score 15 to 20 goals a season for us, maybe even 25. Zinchenko, I don't know what's happened with him. When he joined us, he also impressed at the beginning, and I can't remember the game was. Yeah, the game against Liverpool that cost us the league title. After that, he just became a liability.
Tavares again.
Yeah.
Again, Tavares.
What's that?
You said when he first came to us, we really loved him, and I went Tavares, and then you went, and then he became a liability, and I went still Tavares. Similar thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Look, for all the players that we have improved us, there's been some negative storylines around some players.
Yeah, I mean, it's I get he's a very emotional person. With what's going on in his homeland, and maybe that's got something to do with his inconsistency in play. And yeah, he's not a real defender as per se, but you can't be making mistakes as what he's done when you're playing it at left back. You just can't.
Yeah. Some horrendous mistakes with Zinchenko. All right, Lawrence, you get the pick, and we're getting to the point where maybe you want to refresh.
Point of no return.
Okay, go ahead, Gary.
Well, I know this is going to make Stan happy.
All right, hold on 1 second. We gotta get Gary in on Jesus and Zinchenko. That's two F-ups from me.
Yeah,
so.
no, yeah.
I need a pen.
No, I mean, it's interesting that we just, most of our players, we have to find like one or two things that are wrong with their game. But for Jesus and Zinchenko, the list is too big for the other way around in terms of the negatives that they bring. Availability. Both of them have injury concerns, so that's an issue for us. They come with the pedigree, but they're not giving us the pedigree. Right? We said we brought them in because they have won Premier Leagues. Right? They competed in Champions Leagues. They've won a lot of domestic cups, but none of it's robbing off enough for me. Right? What's that pen for? Oh, the pen's not for me.
Pens are ready. Pens are sharpened.
No, I just yeah.
It's for me.
Nah, that was for you. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of negatives for them. You know what? I think if Arteta cannot sell them, which if he can't, then they need to be those. We talk about those role players. You talked about
it was just
El Neni. You talked about El Neni and what he could bring. They would have to fill that hole.
Yeah.
$200,000 a week.
If they can't sell them, right? If they can't sell them.
You know what I always say at the start of every season, the players get in the dressing room, Gary, and you have to have that one player who can tell them, we're not top four. We're challenging for the title. Yeah. And to change that mindset, look around the dressing room, look at the players we have right now. And that's maybe what Zinchenko did when we went from 5th to 2nd.
The problem is sometimes the actions speak louder than words at some point. His actions weren't doing that. Like for me, Jorginho can speak all he wants because every time we get to see him play, he'll make. I think he's made some mistakes, yes, but everybody has, as we've said before. But he has come in there and done a job more times than not, I believe, than Jesus and Zinchenko. So, you listen to a Jorginho when he comes in to the game and stuff like that. So that's what I think they need to bring to us, and maybe they can't do that. They can't do that on a regular basis. They need to do that in spot duty, like when we need something different. Like Jesus came in the Bayern game, right? Scores the goal, right?
Yeah.
That's stuff that we need from them. I don't know what – I'm still wondering what Zinchenko does for us playing on the back line inverted. That that helps us. I've not going, all right, cool, Zinchenko's inverting, so that means goals. It doesn't seem to work out that way for me in my eyes. So I don't know, Arteta needs to figure out what to do with him. If he's going to sell him or put him in a better situation. You know what? Don't set him up to fail. Set him up to succeed, which means probably what? Move him away from the back line, Arteta.
Like
Same
Xhaka.
thing. Like Xhaka. Keep him away from the back line.
Well, but the question is for me as well with Zinchenko is why has Mikel Arteta never started him in midfield? Even when we've had injuries there and we're experimenting, he's never. So he's not. He doesn't trust him as a midfielder. Yeah. And then he's playing in defense. He's taking up a space in defense, and he can't defend.
How does that math work?
No,
I don't trust you. I don't trust you further away from the goal, but I trust you closer to the goal.
This is why some people think Arsenal play with three at the back because of that. Because it's Zinchenko and because of inverting, some people think Arsenal play with three at the back.
If you're going to be the guy that's waving their fist and getting everyone together and going, we need to do this, we need to do that, and then you're the first person to give the ball away, you lose all your credibility.
Yeah. That's like you said. It's you're both saying it's great to talk, but you have to walk the walk as well.
Now think about it. If you move him up the pitch, that just moves Rice further back, which is fine. He can do that job.
Right.
And now you've got a strong back four essentially, or you got Rice in front of that back three. Not bad, right? Not bad at all.
Yeah.
You have to do it. But then hopefully that means that your attack is even better, right? Yeah. That's the hope.
I think some of the things we ask Rice to do may be confusing for Rice. You're asking him maybe to drop into that left back position. At times you're asking him to play 6, and you're asking him to play left 8 at some times as well. Yeah. Hopefully we get more. Arteta will give Rice more clarity so that we can start comparing him to a left 8 or a number 6 in the league. Sometimes we can't have that conversation with rival
I'm
fans.
still trying to figure out what his better position is, whether it's a 6 or an 8.
Yeah. And I think he'll say 6 as well at times, but he's enjoying the 8.
I think that what we're missing, as I was going to say, if he's the 6, and obviously Odegaard we consider the more adventurous one, who we'd like to see in the box more, then whoever he's going to take up that left 8 position for me, they need to be box to box, a box to box player. They need to be able to come back and help out with Declan when off the ball, but they also need to have the legs to get into the box and try and get on the end of things and cause problems by being an extra man in that box. They've got to be box to box, basically. Patrick Vieira, Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong would be excellent.
He's got his availability issues as well. So.
Are there takers for Zinchenko or Jesus? And we may keep Jesus, but if we have an offer for Zinchenko, let him go. Lawrence, do you have a player in mind?
Yes, I do. And I know that this is going to make Stan happy. But Teabag.
I'm talking Wyatt, obviously.
Yeah.
It's hard to defend my man. It's hard to defend my man these days.
Or for or for Gary's benefit, Fabio Vieira.
Fabio
Yeah,
Vieira.
I didn't know
Yeah.
who you said before. That was a weird
Yeah,
situation. I didn't know we had a
Translated.
player named that at all. I've seen the
The
back
fact
of their
that you
shirt.
said Teabag, you come off the list, man. For that, he actually come off the list.
yeah. Let's go back to when we signed him.
Hmm.
We could have got Tielemans from Leicester on a free transfer. Let's not get about this. We could have got Tielemans from Leicester.
Are
Okay,
you
but
Tony in
Arteta
disguise?
thought it'd be better to shell out the money.
Disguise. Oh, you Tony in disguise.
Yeah, got the players. Careful, I'll do my impression of a Tony.
You went back
You
2
don't want
years.
me
You
to
went back
do a
2
Tony.
years on a
You don't want me to
1 year
do a Tony
analysis.
rant.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know,
Gary?
Yeah.
he's rubbed off.
Stick
All right.
to one season.
Let's hear him out.
Okay,
I think we know where this is going, but let's hear him out.
okay, again, before I was rudely interrupted. we were heavily linked to get Tielemans from Leicester on a free transfer. Okay, and for some reason Arteta thought in his divine wisdom it would be better to throw money down the drain on Vieira, who nobody had ever heard of.
Right.
And this has been a major bust for Arteta. This player has hardly played for us. I did see him play out here when Arsenal played Barcelona, and he scored that wonder goal. But that's the only thing I can remember positively about him, because he's just not Premier League standard. I'm sorry to say he's not built. He's not. Excuse me. He's not built to play in the Premier League. He bounces off other players when they go into tackle with him. I just don't see where he's going to fit in to the squad, when we bring in these other players.
All right. I think we have to go to Stan next.
Yeah, we do.
Wait, how does that work? How do you just keep skipping people?
I'm not skipping. It's just like he's dear to his heart. That's all.
How comes I'm not next? He should get to sour in that, because he calls. You know what? Isn't it? If that's his name, don't you need it to steep a little bit?
I'm good with
to make it
I'm good with the tea bag staying in the hot water.
It needs to steep a little bit, right?
It's a weak cup of tea, Gary. It's milky.
Gary, you have convinced me. Go, Gary.
It's weak and sweet.
So you want proper tea? You gotta let it sit there a little bit longer. No, I think I'll go fast on this one, but there's few. He had a couple of. I think early in the season he showed up and I think helped with some goal contributions. I think
turned the Fulham game around.
Yeah. So, and then after that, as Stan will say, the tea was pretty much white. It's like, did you put a tea bag in there? And it's like, I did. And you're like, well, but it looks milky white.
It was weak.
What happened to the tea?
It's in the same tea bag for the last month. There's nothing left.
It's a Baldrick tea bag.
No, I think his key negative is availability. And at first it was, can he last in the league? And I guess obviously right now the answer is no, because he's never available for us. So unless he's not available for us, and I think we need, like you said, we may have had other options for more players with actual Premier League experience that would have cost us less and given us probably a little bit more. So availability has been his big hindrance, and at some point we need to move on. Yeah.
Low point was his send it off in the Fulham game. High point was in the same game. I think he turned the Fulham game around with that pass into Eddie Nketiah. And I just remember him standing there looking around the stadium like he was Eric Cantona, marveling at that assist. That was Stan. That was it. Fabio.
Yeah, I mean, he's like my pet project. I christened him with the nickname.
We know.
I want him to come good, but I hear what people are saying. Thing is with him, and what I disagree with Lawrence is that when he came from Portugal, from I think it was it Sporting that we got him from?
Yeah.
He came with the highest assist in the league. I think it was something like 14 assists. So he was showing something of that he could be creative. And I think initially, I think the idea was that he was supposed to be the person that could give Odegaard a break when required.
Porto.
Porto, okay. I thought, I think initially he was considered to be that player that was going to play in a similar position role to Odegaard. But as BX said, one of his better performances that I've seen was the last time that he played for us when he came off the bench. Was it? He came off the bench and he played on the right. He looked pretty tidy. In that game. Personally, I would like to give him one more season to see if he can build his fitness up and start to make a contribution, because I think there's a player in there, and I'm also clinging to hope because I just want this guy to come good. You know, I don't want it to be a 35 million down the drain. That 35 million, right? Same money that we spent on Odegaard. Same money.
Yeah.
I know that we've got a steal with Odegaard, but I want him to come good. So I would be prepared to give him another season to see if he can work his way into the team and show that he's got something in him. But I hear what people are saying, and I have been underwhelmed by him.
Things you never want to hear about footballers. I think there's a player in there.
He's shown me some things though. That he's got technical ability. I think he's got a good cross on the ball. I think he's got a good finish as well.
Yes.
I think a few times when he's played, he's tried a little bit too hard and he's tried to force it. Sometimes that can happen when you're trying to force it and things don't quite come off. If he can just relax.
Yeah. I think his issue is consistency. Consistency and being consistent within the league. And we've seen, I think he played that pass for Gabriel Jesus for that third goal against Man United. Last season, he played the pass for Martinelli through on Aston Villa. I'm
not saying that we shouldn't buy other players, and that means that he comes down in the pecking order.
Yeah.
But it's up to him then to work hard in training, and when he does get his opportunities in cup games or off the bench, to show something. And I'd rather try him for another season than flush 35 million down the drain, and we have to sell him for like 15.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They shot last season against Brentford, that goal for the third goal against Brentford away from home last season. His tenacity to strike from outside the box is great.
He's got it.
And he's always looking for a cracker goal. And we don't, as a team, take enough shots outside the box, which, you can argue we try to work better positions closer to the goal. But you can always have a shot from outside the box as well. We scored a few of those. Colonel said you can have the technical ability, but you need hard work to go with it. Look at James James Rodriguez and there's that O word again. Both nowhere in their 30s. I saved you, Stan. I didn't say it. Gary, you get the next pick. I did not say it. No, I glanced over it. Gary, who have you got? You want a list of who we haven't picked yet?
No, I think I know who we haven't picked.
Okay.
It's like, do I want to go for the low-hanging fruit, or do I want to go? I guess I'll go. Yeah, I guess I'll go because we have a lot. Yeah, I'll go Tomiyasu.
Right.
Tomiyasu. I always start with the negatives, I guess. Injuries, concerns, but when he's available, injury concerns is really the one key thing. Not sure. I don't believe he makes too many mistakes. He's not consistent with them for sure. But when he's healthy and he's ready to go, I think we're better for it. We've seen him actually. I think he's actually been more involved a little bit more than he has in the past in terms of our attack. He's given us a little bit more than he has in previous seasons now.
Goal.
Yeah. So I think that Havertz goal late in the game, right? He was that Havertz trap with the chest. I go with that one all the time. He was there.
Yeah.
For that. So I kind of feel like, And the fact they've extended him, which means he's going to be comfortable about playing, and more than likely we'll see if he, we know he can start for us, so that just means for me, when we go into, if he's not our main starter come day one, when we go to domestic cups and things like that, we're not taking steps back, right? Like we have,
Yeah,
he'll
like
be one of those
BX
players
said,
that
yeah.
he'll be one of those players that when we go to our bench, we know, when we play, for example, Ipswich or something like that, right? When they
Yeah.
come into the league, whoever comes into the
Yeah.
league, we might be able to rest some of our players in Premier League games, so because he can start. So yeah, that's Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I don't think there's much negatives
No.
in his game. So I think it's mostly just the injuries which happen. He's consistently getting injuries every year, and maybe if he's not part of the starting lineup, he'll be healthier for us a lot more because he'll come in and out of the game as opposed to having to play, for a month
Yep.
straight kind of thing.
He's definitely in my 16. If we
Mhm.
have to improve the squad, there's 7 or 8 players need to improve, but he's in the 16, between 11 and 16 for me. Got involved more and more going forward, scored on the last day of the season as well, which was important to get that goal back quickly after conceding. Stan.
Fantastic player for me. He's basically our Swiss Army knife in defence, isn't he? He can play anywhere. He can play on the right. If Ben White can't play, I'm more than happy if Tomiyasu steps in. No problem.
Yeah.
If Saliba can't play for whatever reason, again, I'm more than happy to trust Tomiyasu going in at centre back. If there's a problem on the left-hand side, again, I'm more than comfortable to see him playing there because he's shown me that he can play in every position. As Gary says, if we can just keep him fit, and it's worrying because the problems that he's had have been muscular problems. I remember he was out with a problem with one leg, and while he was out resting, the other leg went. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on with this guy? He's not even doing anything. He's like resting and he gets injured, just like sat on the sofa. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But when this guy plays, you can't fault him. He's a little bit like Nacho Monreal, but better in that he can play every position. And what I mean by that is that it is very rare that Nacho Monreal got less than a 7 when he played. You saw the ratings in the newspapers or whatever, and I think Tomiyasu is a 7 minimum or above. He will have some outstanding games, and like Gary says, if he's playing more regularly, he is that kind of guy that will pop up and get you a goal from defence as well.
Yeah. Great pick. Great shout about Tomiyasu. Lawrence?
Yeah. He's just injuries have hampered his career with us. I liked him from the moment we signed him.
Yeah.
How much did he cost us?
I saw
18, I thought.
Yeah, the teens.
That's not
18.
bad.
Yeah.
No, from Bologna.
I just thought when he made his debut against Norwich a couple of years ago, I thought he looked decent, and it's unfortunately he's got hampered by the injury bug, which has curtailed his career with us. And he scored that blinded goal against Everton on the last day of the season. So, yeah, no complaints from me. Very positive indeed.
Yeah. Who did pick Tomiyasu there? That was Gary. Okay, Stan, you're next.
This is quite an unusual one for the reason that I'm going to pick, and I am going to focus on highs and lows for this one, and I'm going to pick Saka.
Okay.
And the high for me is that this kid he's just a great talent, a great character. There's everything about him that I like. And I'm going to switch to the lows because I can't say enough that's good about him. But do you know what the low is for me? The way that he's treated by the media.
Yeah.
Because when he played for England in that last game, and we've all seen the backs. We've all seen the backs of the newspapers, even if we don't live in England. Yeah. He came in the 65th minute.
Yeah.
And he's the one that they want to focus on. I don't understand that. I don't understand why he is the one that they want to, not just one paper, the majority of them are focusing on the guy that comes on the 65th minute. Somehow it's his fault.
Yeah.
I can understand it with a couple of them, like when he was throwing the plane and they want to use something for that. But nearly every paper focusing on that guy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say the obvious thing that we're all thinking. Do you know what I mean? Because we're all thinking it. But for me, that's a low. And it's not a low on because of him and his performance. It's just a low on the way that his season has been ended. Guys out there playing for his country, trying to do his best. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't start. He came on in the 65th minute. There's if you want to pick fault, there's other areas that you can go to.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're being really negative about the press and the British press and what they're doing, it's what you were saying, what we're all thinking. Or you could say he's probably the brightest light in the England team.
I was thinking that as well.
That could be the reason why they're doing it, because he's a generational talent for England. I just hate that.
Black ice. Why couldn't it just be, if they're talking about slipping up, why couldn't it just be ice?
Yeah.
Something slippery. Why was it black ice? You know?
Yeah.
It's just
ridiculous.
Come on, man. You know?
Yeah. We should be better than this as human beings as well. Like you said, Stan, 65 minutes. He's one of the best players in England, but he's not maybe the highest profile player in that English squad.
I can understand if he's on from minute one. Do you know what I mean? And he'd missed a load of chances, and there were pictures of him holding his hands and, not having the best body. I could understand you using him.
Yeah.
But the guy that's come on the 65th minute,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You got players like Phil Foden. You got players like Harry Kane. You've got Declan Rice in there. You got
why
Bellingham.
not Phil Foden? He just won the league. Why isn't that more of a?
He's
won the league.
And
it's the fourth time he's just won
most valuable. What was he? FA Premier League Player of the Year or something like that. Player of the Year with Man City, rightly or wrongly, voted the best player in the league. Phil Foden, and I think there's I saw a caption: Bukayo Saka scored 11 or 14 goals for England so far. Foden's only scored 4. So if Foden is one of the better players in the England squad, he needs to start backing it up in this tournament. But yeah, the way that the media call out Bukayo Saka with different levels to other players in the league, the way that the fellow rival fans dismiss what he's doing and think that he's diving all the time. Because let's accept as well, the teams are doubling up on Bukayo Saka. There's 2 defenders coming to him.
It's not like
every
the media.
game.
It's not like the media are unaware that what happened the last time that England were in a tournament, and what happened with the penalty miss, and all of the horrid, abhorrent stuff that was aimed at those players on social media. So wouldn't you have that in your mind, and you wouldn't want to try to, by any means, reignite anything like that? Do you know what I mean? You'd be a little bit more careful in your journalism.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there are people that will see the backs of those papers, and, there's people out there, believe it or not, they're out there, that will go on social media and start piling in.
Mm-hmm.
In very, very strong ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here we go. And another tournament where if England do not win it, the English media are going to slate the management and the players, and make scapegoats out of English press never make a scapegoat out of the team, because you play as a team, you lose as a team. They will always single out the individuals who. And it happened to David Beckham as well. He was singled out as well years ago. Have you seen that documentary? BX says Saka gets better and better every year since he's debuted. Wait till Jude missed a penalty or an open goal, then he'll get targeted next. Yeah. New Adidas England advert is good, and papers should be sued, says Tiger and Gunner. Saka is like the English version of Kaka in terms of personality on and off the pitch. Very humble individual, God-fearing, respects his elders. And this even goes into the
Very
Premier
good,
League
very good
where,
comparison.
yeah, this even goes into the Premier League where the referees they don't seem to protect a player like Bukayo Saka. Whether it's Arsenal or not, I don't know what the reasoning is, but
Harry Kane missed a penalty in the last tournament, but that kind of gets glossed over.
yeah, nobody talks about that, right? Against France. Yeah. In the last tournament. So that is, and Bukayo Saka does not have many lows. Maybe he's been played too much by Mikel Arteta. Maybe we had to play him so much, and we have to identify a player that we can rest Saka, that we can bring into the squad and rest Saka, so he doesn't have
How'd
to
you sell
play.
that to someone? I was thinking about this the other day. How'd you go to a top quality player and say, listen, we want you to come in and be back up to Saka? Like, I'll play every weekend, mate.
I wouldn't say it that way. I would say,
do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
You're going to have to be cute about who you buy. Maybe that player has to play in more than one position.
Yeah, and maybe it's a young player. Maybe it could be one Airy. Maybe it could be Gabriel Jesus already in the team. But you tell maybe the player you're going to sign, you tell him you can play anywhere across the front three, and one day Saka doesn't have to play. Not necessarily Saka's position. You can play centrally, left or right. You can play alongside Bukayo Saka. There's lots of ways to do this.
It's not what you say. Yeah, isn't
it? Yeah, exactly.
You're like a good salesman, right? Good car salesman.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the way to do it. What do you say to a Man City player who's coming in and Foden is there or Kevin De Bruyne is there? You tell them that you will get opportunities when they're not playing. You will play alongside them. You will play in a different position. Same thing with Mohamed Salah. He's going to be there. He's going to score 30 goals a season. But a player like Elliott has to come in and do that. A younger player, and maybe that's the difference. It's a little bit tough though. And maybe we've heard about Cozy or Dewberry leaving as well, and that could be because of he's looking at the team and the competition is tough. He's looking at young players already that he can't. They're only 2 years younger, So people are talking about our academy players leaving, and it's because our first team is so good. They probably don't see an opportunity to get into the team. But what was your good points on Bukayo Saka, Stan?
Well, everything.
Yeah,
I said that his personality, his application,
that goal against Tottenham,
the way that he plays. He stands up in big games. It's great to see a young player come through the ranks and make it into the team and be, one of your most important players. It's brilliant to have that, and he's the one. It's just a shame that someone like Emil Smith Rowe couldn't have partnered that. It would have been nice to have had the two of them, but alas, it's not to be, and we need to find another one. We need to keep that, and maybe somebody like, as you say, and Wary, can never pronounce his name properly, could be someone that could come into the team, and it would work then, knowing that he's a backup to a Saka, but you will get minutes, you will get cup games.
Yeah, and that would be, we know Bukayo Saka is going to play 80, 85%, maybe 90% of all the minutes, but if you give one Airy 10%, 10, 15%, that could be a good, healthy,
and if you do
balance.
well, maybe that 10% grows to 20%, right? Because you'll be entrusted more.
Yeah, and you maybe get Odegaard's position as well because you might be a creative player. Lawrence, what are your thoughts on Bukayo? Our talisman, he's carried us.
Yeah, great player, but as I said, he was burning on fumes at times during last season.
Yeah,
because we had there was no cover for him. It's just a shame. Had he performed to the best of his abilities, we could have gone and won the league. But as I said, there were times last season where he absolutely looked knackered because of the amount of games he was playing for us. And just to harp on what Stan said about
keep that. Keep it.
January. Yeah.
What Stan said about the media slagging him off because he came on the pitch after 70 minutes against Iceland, and apparently it was his fault we lost to Iceland, even though he didn't start the game.
Crazy. Was he on the field when they conceded?
Up. Yeah. I mean, we lost to a supermarket. Let's be honest. But as I said, I could see this coming a mile off. Because the amount of minutes he was playing for us, and he is our star player, and Arteta needs to do something to protect him.
Protect him, yeah.
Exactly. It's just for me. I mean, there's so many positives about him from last season. I mean, that goal he scored on the opening day against Nottingham Forest, when he curled the ball past Matt Turner in the first game. And it just shows him what a class act he is. He's very humble. He takes everything on the chin. But some of the crap that's directed at him by the newspapers and by online abusers who just pick any opportunity to slag him off, when you've got the likes of Phil Foden, who absolutely do nothing for England when they play for the national team. It's just a joke.
Yeah. Look, as you're talking about this, Lawrence, I'm remembering like blood drawn from Saka's shin against Bournemouth. Premier League games are tough to win. Premier League games are tough to win. You're fighting to win the right to go on and get 3 points. But Bukayo Saka, there's a lot of pressure on his young shoulders, and he's taken that over the last 3 or 4 years. And I think we are crying out for Mikel Arteta to understand he needs to take the pressure off his shoulders a little bit and show, look, there are other parts of this team that can take the slack as well and score goals. And it's not all about Bukayo.
I actually think that Mikel Arteta looks at it completely in the opposite way that you said. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I think he looks at it to be a top player. I think this is exactly what you need to. This is what you need to be doing. You need to. You know what I mean? I think that's how he kind of verbalized that a few times, right?
He has, yeah. And look, every player is. I'm going to go to Gary next. Every player.
We want to wrap him in cotton wool. Mikel Arteta wants to wrap him in barbed wire.
Yeah. Every player is going to get injured, and I think Mikel Arteta is making a rod for his own back for saying this stuff, because Bukayo Saka will have a part of his career where he is injured for a sizable amount of time. I don't want it to happen, but you can see a player who's played a lot of minutes, a lot of games, and he's still, 22, Gary? But he's still playing the lion's share of games for Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what sucks for him is that, as you said, we don't even think he had a good year, and all he did was lead the team in goals, sit in the top 5 or 6 in the league in goal contributions. And from our eyes, we can see him struggling.
The eye test.
And so we know there's more to his game. Just like I said the same thing about Erdogan. I mean, there's more to his game than we saw, and we think he did well. I think that's kind of the marker he set. Every year he's been in that starting lineup, he's gotten better each time. Got better each time, and so now he's a double player. Gives you double goals, double assists per year. hopefully that continues. The only negatives are basically forced on him by essentially the way Arteta manages him.
Yeah.
I don't. For me, I don't know if I would. I wonder if Arteta, if he came out and he played maybe say the first 60 minutes at 100, basically, we go up 3-0. Will Arteta push him to the bench? I don't know if that happens. You know what I mean? I think that might be in his head as well. That's why he just, he plays for 90
He's like,
minutes.
I'll keep him on. He'll get the fourth one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my thing. I feel like
No.
if we went up and he scored a hat trick, Arteta would be like, you need to get 4. And
Now
it's
you
like,
can get
no,
4.
push the
Ronaldo
man,
did it.
put the man on the bench, please. And that's Arteta. But like I said, he gets knocked down, he gets back up again, right? We hear that song. He does that all the time, and he takes all that stuff with a smile on his face, and then he comes back, and that's people say star boy, and that's what he is. The only the negatives for me, if there's a negative, it's I just want him to be more aggressive, but I kind of feel like that's nitpicking because of where he is. But like I said, I think there's more to his game. I think there's more that he can get out of his game if he didn't have to play as much. I feel like if he knew if I went out there and I did my job, I would get to sit, because that's what needs to happen, right?
Right.
Sometimes your best players need to sit, right? They go out there, they do a good job. You're up 4-5-0. It's okay to pull Saka to the side. You don't have how many opportunities do you have to pull him? You don't. And we had a stretch there, like you said, a month, where we gave up no goals and we scored 4 or 5 goals every game.
Yeah.
And he probably played most of the minutes. Why? Why? He doesn't need to. So so the negatives are more on Arteta than they are on him, I think. For me. But the whole media thing. Yeah, it's you wonder if it's still there, and guess what? It's still there, right? It always shines. It always pokes his head out, just to let you know. It's still there, all right?
Yeah.
It's still there.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, you wanted to address Brownie's comment, right? Or not?
Yeah, has it actually entered the mind of Arsenal fans that Saka has been found out? Nothing to do with Arteta. It's up to Saka to have a plan B. Well, his numbers would suggest that he hasn't been found out, first of all, because the numbers are still good. What we're saying is that we're not saying that he needs to be wrapped in cotton wool, Adam. What we're saying is that there are sometimes when we've got lots of games that are coming up, are stockpiling up, and we're cruising in the game, and he just leaves him on for the full game when there's no need. That's what we're saying. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit cute with players, right? And then gradually, then what you start to see is that there's games where he starts to look a bit ineffective because he's breathing out of his arse. Obviously, evidently, those holes in the back of his socks aren't working. Those holes that he cuts out, they're obviously not working. But there are times when we're doing well in the game, and I think what it is that Mikel Arteta looks to the bench and he thinks, "Who am I going to bring on? I don't want to bring on Reece Nelson. I really don't want to bring on Reece Nelson. I don't want to shift it all around so that I have to put Eddie on. So do I want to do that? And therefore, what happens is
Eddie on the left wing.
Saka has to play more than what he should, because there's no options. He trusts.
No, I was gonna say I don't think Arteta's been found out. He's just playing on on an empty tank, and it looks like you found him out. But guess what? You're not getting the top-notch Saka sometimes. That's what I think you see. I don't think he's been found out because he's scoring goals. He's putting himself in good situations. Like I said, double man.
Two players on him all the time.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he gets the ball, there's 3 players looking at him, sometimes 4 looking at him, right? And he's supposed to do something with it, and he usually does the right thing with it. So I don't think he's been found out. I think, one, he's not getting the support from his manager in terms of management.
And just look at the national team, right? Who are you going to put in on that right-hand side ahead of Saka? Is there anyone? No. There isn't anyone.
Even Foden, the player of the year, the player of the season.
On the right-hand side. That's not his
Foden's
position.
going to have to play on the left.
Left or in the middle. On the right hand
Yeah.
side, who gets in the England team ahead of Saka?
Yeah.
Jared
Nobody.
Bowen
If-
is
but no, think about it.
auditioning,
If
right? Jared Bowen's a
Arteta,
warm-up. No one.
if Arteta doesn't mean much to the England squad, then why do they put his picture up?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got
Yeah, yeah.
it carries. Yes, it carries a little bit of
Saka.
controversy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Um,
when they, on the other side of that, he's also leading the team when they're having a good time, right?
I just also I want to remember that it's good to have Brownie back. I know he's been back a while, but I just want to. There was many times we wondered about Brownie if he'd be
Sure.
back. You know what I mean? So good to have him back in the chat box. Sure, Gary. Surely, if they're doubling up on him, which nulls his impact, then he's been found out. No.
How
still
is that?
got-
How is that being found out that they have to double teaming means that they, they realize that if they don't,
I mean,
if
found
he
out
was
how
found-
good he is, Gary.
I
They
don't-
found out how
I
good
don't know
he
what
is.
that. How is that?
Yeah.
That's not a negative. That's actually a positive. That means, guess what? We can't beat you with one guy. We can't
Yeah.
beat you with two guys. We can't beat you with three. Sometimes four. Right. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's been found out because his numbers keep going up.
I mean,
Right.
if
And
by
his
being
influence-
found out is that they're aware of his talent, that what he can do to them if it's one-on-one,
Yeah.
then he's been found out. If they're aware that he can kill them, with 4 goals in one game, it can happen. It could happen. Where
I don't know about this found out thing because I still feel like
I don't think they
I
haven't
think-
come up with a plan for him.
yeah.
They've not.
I mean, they've tried.
You know?
Like I said, we watch him week in, week out, have to deal with the amount of attention that he gets, and he still is able to give us numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being found out, but he's leading the team in goals and contributions, right?
When you stop him, that's when he's being found out. When you stop
Yes.
him.
And he's
You know
still
what I mean?
he's sitting in the top, like I said, top 5, top 10
Yeah.
in the league in goal contribution. So if that's being found out, let's just keep going that way, I guess.
That's beneficial to have them double up on him. It takes a player away to free up someone else to score. That should be Martinelli. It should be Trossard on the other side of the field. It has been Kai Havertz.
And I don't even think it's lightning pace. I think he waits. You see it every time. He starts moving up the pitch, and then all of a sudden he puts his leg on top of the ball, and you know what he's about to do. Right there, the defense has got him, right?
He's got a bit of that about him where he wants the defender to come back so he can jink back inside where the defender's momentum is going past him.
He does have
and he
a
can
move,
come back.
doesn't he? I don't want to call it. He has like a move that he likes to do. It's a little bit like Robben. Aaron Robben, he always knew what he was going to do. He had that move that he would sort of want to do and play that ball, but they still couldn't get the ball off him.
Yeah,
we all knew it.
Exactly.
We don't play football. We'd all watch it and we're thinking, he's going to do that move. The player must be thinking, he's going to do that move. He does that move and he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah. Whose turn is next? I think who picked Saka?
Me.
All right, Lawrence, what have you got? You want to know who you've got to pick from?
It's been a while, and I'm amazed my 2 esteemed colleagues haven't mentioned him as of yet.
Yeah.
But Declan Rice.
Yeah, that's because our team is full of players that could be mentioned. Go ahead, Lawrence. Yeah. Declan Rice.
If ever I saw a player play for Arsenal who's been virtually faultless in his debut season, it's Declan Rice. I cannot think of one bad performance he put in for us during this past season. And in a world where footballers are going for millions and millions of pounds, overrated prices, he's been well worth every penny of the 105 million that we shelled out for him.
Yep. Every penny. I'll give you a couple of moments. The 5-on-1 up at Anfield. He's the only player there.
When he came into the team, even though we were kind of doing all right, you could see that we were different.
Yeah.
And it was him. There was something different. We just, you know what I'm saying? more assured. I don't know what it is. You could visibly see. Oh, yeah, this team is looking different, and we've added this guy.
Yeah. That goal against Chelsea, we were dead and buried 2-0. We were down 2-0. Mudryk scored over the head of David Raya. But we were dead and buried with about 15, 20 minutes to go. And, we pressed the goalkeeper. He clears the ball. And Declan Rice immediately pounces past Conor Gallagher, who's got a lot of plaudits this season. Pounces past Conor Gallagher and right-footed shot into the corner of the net, which is technically very, very, very high quality chance taken there. Not a lot of players could do that from that position. About 35 yards out from goal.
The goal he scored at West Ham as well.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yeah. Blocking.
His highest goals in this season when he played at West Ham, I think, was two goals in the season.
Yeah.
So you can see how he's not only improved, but his style of play has changed, where he's getting into more dangerous areas as well as being that defensive person. Because you scored something like 7 goals. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right. Seven goals, 8 assists.
Okay, I mean that's kind of like up there in Rodri numbers.
Yeah.
Rodri gets to the season, he plays in a similar position. And in Xhaka's last season for Arsenal, which was his golden season, he scored 7 goals as well.
Yep.
Playing at a left day.
Remember the blocked goal at Brentford? Open goal. He's there on the goal line, clearing it off the line. Five Liverpool players against Declan Rice up at Anfield, and Trent hits the crossbar because Declan Rice has forced the situation. They should have punished him there. And that goal. And look, Tiger and Gunner is right. The probably the low point for Declan was up against West Ham in the league and conceding that penalty at home when we did lose the first of 2 games between Christmas and New Year's. So that was a low point for him.
Last thing I like about Declan Rice before Gary comes in is that just yesterday I was listening on Talk Sport on the bus on the way to work, whatever, and they were talking to Adam Wharton. He's been picked for England, who plays for Crystal Palace. Wharton, who's been making a name for himself, plays in the same position as Rice. And they were talking to him and asking him what it's like being in the England squad and who he's been been around and whatever. And he singled out Declan Rice as someone that he's really learning a lot from, not just from within the game, but also what he's like off of the pitch and what a top bloke is, and was really singing his praises. So it's good to hear that kind of rapport coming in from one of our players, because he's obviously going to be doing the same thing about the younger players at Arsenal as well. So it's good to hear that
Yeah, and hopefully he's going to bring a player like Nwaneri or Nwaneri through the team as well this coming season. Stephen's here, the Arsenal Misfit. Hey guys, working right now, but have been listening in the whole show. Thanks for being here. We do appreciate you're always being here, Stephen. Would you pay 100 million for Rodri tomorrow if given the opportunity? That's what they call a no-brainer right there. Even though we hate him, I think if he was an Arsenal player, we could put that to one side.
I hate Bruno, but I would pay the 100. Bruno Gramage.
Bruno
Gramage. I'd pay 100 for him.
Or Bruno Fernandes.
No.
No.
Sorry, I meant to. No, I had to clarify that. No. I was going to say for Rice.
Declan.
He was, he was worth the money. We stopped talking about the 100 mil as soon as he put on the shirt and started running up down the pitch.
Yeah.
Nobody brought it up again. It was just like, we got what we paid for.
Yeah.
Got a really good player. He's got places. He's still got room to grow. Right. He showed more, I think, in his attacking Arsenal.
His value must have gone up already, right? His value must have already gone up.
Yeah. I mean, he's done everything we wanted, and there's still holes. There's holes to his game in the sense that
Yeah.
His
You can improve.
propensity to hold the ball instead of making that pass to split lines.
Hmm.
He still hesitates when he does that sometimes, but you see it with when Partey was healthy. We're not seeing that much anymore, but that's something he needs to work into his game. And you know what? From what he's done so far, I can only assume we'll see a lot more of that as he moves along. So, but that that's the one negative I have for him. But otherwise, he's done everything, and he would. We've seen it, right? If he needs to defend, he will defend. If he needs to move the ball at the pitch, he will do that. He needs to shoot and score, he will do that. I mean, he's he's not Henderson yet because we haven't
If
won
you
the
had
big
that
trophies. But
Partey
he's
passing, isn't it? If you had Partey's range of passing, that would be even. He doesn't have
Yeah.
that. does
Yeah,
he?
so that's why it kind of sucked that Partey wasn't around to even show him how he does that on a consistent basis, and because he's not consistently healthy. So that was that's the part that you're sitting there and you're watching it, and it makes it easier, but you're not seeing it, and you may never see it anymore. So, but he's done well for us, and I think he will continue to do that for us. We'll see how he does in Euros this season, this year. This summer, I guess in a couple of days, right? England will play. But yeah,
Yes.
no, I think he is, sitting next to Erdegaard. He's our next, we said, Odegaard is our captain, but he's sitting there, easily second on that list, right? As far as being able to give us everything that we need in that middle and helping us control it.
Hang on, I want to ask you, did you notice that what game was it? Odegaard went off, and Rice was on the pitch, and they gave the armband to somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Is it Jorginho? I don't know. I remember thinking, not Rice. It went to somebody else.
Yeah.
Answers on a postcard to Blue Peter.
I think it was probably it's probably Arteta with his I just can't give it to him this easy. I can't give it to him this early because that's too easy. And it's so for me, it's dude, it's not even why bother, and that's what Arteta's thing. He likes to no, I'll hold back. No, let it go. The man is doing exactly. It was why you bought him. You bought him from this reason. You wanted to. You might have the captain standing in your team. It's all right if he gets the armband when Erdegaard comes off the pitch.
We've evolved so much and so well that six of our players could be captain, and we wouldn't really blink an eye at it at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things for us, like I said, all over. So,
hey, listen, we're going to go into next season full of promise that we're going to get over the hump, but probably felt we all felt it when we didn't get there in May, but with this pain will drive the team forward. These are always the things you say, right? When you don't win it, the things you say. Declan Rice. Okay, who's next? Gary.
All right, so
you want a list?
No, I got go. No, I got one. I got one. Trossard. I don't think we've done Trossard yet.
We did Trossard.
We did Trossard.
We did Trossard early. Okay. Oh my. All right.
Yeah.
So,
there's not many left, Gary. There's not many left.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's not many left. Ay. All right. The low hanging fruit is. We lost Lawrence.
He'll be back.
All
right. When you say low hanging fruit, is that the good ones or the bad ones?
It's the bad ones, man. The low hanging fruits are the ones that the squirrels can get to and all of that. It's not ripe and all that kind of stuff. So
I
think there's only two left.
Yeah, no, I think there's at least three. I believe. I think there's at least three. Yeah, there's at least three in my head.
Maybe five. Yeah.
Oh, so there you go, five. At least three, but. Yeah,
There's one good one in there, Gary. We haven't talked about yet.
I think there's only three I can think of.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go with let's do it. We're still fresh. I'm gonna go Nketiah.
Eddie.
Okay.
Eddie Nketiah.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know we were going that deep.
So what I did, low hanging fruit. Like I said, low hanging fruit.
Little known fact, he scored our first league goal of the campaign.
Man scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, man
scored a hat-trick.
So there you go. Those are the highlights.
Did anyone else score a hat-trick?
Those are the highlights. Those are the highlights of the positives that we talk
5
about. When
goals.
I talk about the negatives for a lot of our players, and it's like few and far between. Well, the positives for Nketiah are few and far between.
Yeah.
He did get the hat trick. He did get, like you said, the first goal of the season. He has looked good in spots, but
Probably 4
Arteta,
great games.
I like to say, I think Arteta once again is a little slow to pick up on things, and
Massively underrated.
these are things we knew, like why he's not getting football now. There was the same reason why we thought he shouldn't have got football when he signed the contract,
Yeah.
right? We have to do, like, the easiest choice would have, I think the easiest choice is to re-sign him because you wanted to save face with an academy player.
Hold his value. I don't know.
Yeah, the hold the value thing I think is a nonsense because we say it all the time. How often do we hold that value? When's the last time we hold a value after we re-signed a player? Yeah,
But
it doesn't happen too often. Like
we're
we
just-
go back to Iwobi, right?
Other
That
teams
Iwobi's
can
like
hold
a-
value.
It's like
We're
an old
so-
tale that grandparents tell their grandkids, and the kids
I
go
know,
like,
we-
"I don't believe that. You're lying." It's like a myth.
No,
It's
we've
like I saw
sold so many
Bigfoot.
players since then, right? We've sold 3 goalkeepers, and they don't even equate to what we got for Iwobi. That's not good. And they all have
Exactly.
started for the league. All of them have started for the league, and they don't even come up to the price of one Iwobi, essentially.
Harvard will do business classes that will center around the Iwobi deal to show you how to do business deals.
Yeah. No, I just.
You take this
No,
really shit player and
Yeah. No, I feel for him because he got put. Well, he might have added to this himself with some. Maybe if he had the demands for the shirt number and all of that, but it comes with the territory. And for me, the biggest thing that I have a problem with him was I felt like if Erdegaard wasn't screaming at him to help with the press, the man would never run. So for me, him jogging around the field when he hadn't played all game, for me, it was disappointing. And like, what are you doing? Like, think about this. Remember when he needed a contract, right? Remember the Chelsea game? He scores the 2 goals because of what? Effort, right?
Yeah.
And anticipation,
Application.
right?
Yep.
And then since that time, when do we see him do that enough? Like he comes on off the bench most of the time, so we should be seeing it a lot. When he comes on, he should be ready to run for the last 20, 30 minutes of the match that he's playing in, giving us something. Like, because Erdegaard has been doing this all game, right? And he doesn't bring the same intensity on the press, and he's playing up top. So for me, you can't play like if I'm the coach, you can't play for me. You talk about being lazy out there. He's just jogging around, dude. What's he saving himself for?
Gary, you know what I'm thinking about now, right? MetLife Stadium, and you're just pissed off with Eddie's lack of application live.
I'm like, you see it, and you're like, yeah, are you kidding me? Like, you getting all the opportunities in the world. Most people would kill for that opportunity, and you're not taking it. In my eyes, he's not taking
walking around. Yeah.
Now he's screwed up his international career. The man will never play international football again as long as Southgate is part of the England setup.
Well, maybe he'll go to Ipswich.
One international game, man.
Yeah. Maybe he'll get sold to Brentford or Ipswich or Leeds.
Nigeria after playing probably a lot more. Could have might have been the thing that he needed to get a little bit more confidence away from Arsenal, and maybe that would get him to kick on. But no, I just. Yeah,
I love them. I love the goal he scored against Fulham when Fabio Vieira assisted him there.
Like I said, he's got some spurts, and that's a lot of the work that he did was what in the early part of the season, right?
Lawrence is back, and he's like, "Did we get past the Eddie bit?" Yes, that's why he left. He knew Eddie was.
We saved it.
Well, you know my opinion on him. Made his debut 7 years ago against Norwich and has regressed ever since.
Yeah.
You know,
he was a project under Mikel.
He's been the longest serving member of the squad. and he has failed to cement a spot. You would think someone that long would be playing regularly for us, and he hasn't done it. And I'll say it again, I've seen better players with beer guts play at Hackney Marshes on a cold November Sunday morning. They've got more skill than Eddie Nketiah.
Bloody hell. Going in 2-footed there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the stats, right? And
I'm looking at them as well, Gary. It's fucking scary, isn't it?
He started against West Ham in November. He started against Newcastle in November.
And then it went down, right?
He started against Fulham. Like those are just the 3 highlight games I'm just looking at, and I'm like, If you remember those games,
scary,
like,
they're just scary.
Fulham at home or Fulham away?
That was the one we lost 1-2. So I guess that would be
away.
No, that
wow.
would be.
He played. Wow, he played up front in the game we lost away at Fulham, which arguably, it's a couple of points we're looking for to win the league, and that was a game we didn't get any points in. With Eddie up front. So, listen, the news is out on Eddie. We got to move on from him.
That was his last start for Arsenal. Is that Fulham match?
Nick Howell remembered that.
Yeah.
He never got to look in again.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes they just need to, just cut it off sooner.
Yeah.
They let it fester, and then the whole thing gets gangrene. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to. Sometimes you just need to, just cut it off. Cut it off. I just say cut it off.
It's like that ingrown toenail we told you about. Yeah. Well, apparently we've got to take the whole leg off there. So what?
Yeah.
Ruthless.
I wanted to. You know what? He's got the talent. I just don't think he has we talk about the mentality that you need to have as a player sometimes.
What talent?
He's got something in there.
What talent?
There's something in
there. We go. That phrase again.
We've seen it.
Fabio Vieira and Eddie
it's probably not at an Arsenal level, but there's talent in there, and he just needs to go somewhere. He needs to go play football. That's the whole thing for me. You need to go play football, and it's not going to be at Arsenal.
We should try to go a little bit quicker. There's only a few.
I've not had my say.
Huh?
I've not had my say, Eddie.
All right, go on. I thought you did, though.
No. No, I never had a say. Did I? My opinion on Eddie hasn't changed since 2019. I was just I don't, as much as I really want one other, there's nothing more than I would want for to have a number 9 playing up front for Arsenal that's come through the ranks.
Yeah.
It hasn't cost us a single penny.
14 though.
As other than obviously the education and the investment that way, but he's playing and banging them in, and he's had more than his fair opportunity. I mean, in 2022-2023, he made 30 appearances and only scored 4 goals. That's not Arsenal. He's a box player as well. Apparently.
So was Francis Jeffers.
Fox in the box.
So would Francis Jeffers.
I don't know why we bought him, but Eddie Nketiah has had his opportunities, and we'd still talk about him like he's his kid, but he's not a kid anymore. He's not
24, 25, right?
He should be playing at a different club.
Yeah.
Now, and trying to resurrect his career.
Yeah. All right, who picked Eddie?
Gary.
All right, Gary did. All right, Stan, you get the next pick.
I'm going to go with Jorginho.
Okay.
Jorginho, a player that when we brought him in, I'm like, really? We're still digging into that Chelsea retirement home thing. Why are we doing that? Why are we putting money in? Why are we helping out Todd Bowley and all these people again? Yeah. I always have flashbacks to William Gallas when I think about that we're linked with a player from Chelsea. You know what I mean? I'm like, really? We're doing that again?
Yeah.
But much in the same way as I've told my story about Danny Welbeck many, many times on this broadcast about how, I was seething that we were what I was considered buying an outcast from a rival. Why are we taking this player in, and then the player winning me over just by that pure application and desire to work hard? And Danny Welbeck done that for me. So much so that anytime I hear his name, I pop up. What's that about Danny? What's he doing? What's going on? Right, Alonso.
Well, Lonnie.
You know, and
Well,
I think
Alonso.
the same for me is with Jorginho. You know, for me, now that El Neni has kind of like left the team, I see Jorginho kind of slotting straight into that space. Maybe getting a few more games, but being that backup, and maybe at some point back up to a backup, but still being around, still being able to come in a Champions League game, still being able to come off the bench and give somebody else's legs a rest, but still being able to play a valuable part.
Yeah, high point for me was that a pass for Bukayo Saka that led to a goal. Low point was losing the ball to Tottenham in our home game when he was not up to match fitness. But a great player, a great squad player. If we're going to lose Thomas Partey, we got to keep Jorginho. Gary?
Yes, Jorginho. Yeah, like you said, you named probably the one negative one of the negatives that stands out from his play. I mean, he like I said, he is, I guess, a better version of El Neni, because he can, he's not as consistent because he's not as available as El Neni was until he got those injuries. He can't play back-to-back games in my eyes, so that's if that's a negative, that's just more because of his age and whatnot. But he gives us a lot more, like I said, positive energy, and he can do a job for us once, in the spot games. All right, he comes in there, he does his job. He does really good for us. So I kind of feel like that's what we want from somebody. We always talk about bringing in the older players because they have the experience and whatnot. And he does that exactly for us. Yep. So he does that for us.
In a semi-final, I bet it's a good voice to have in the dressing room, right? In a semi-final or quarter-final, something like that.
If day's not going well for one of our midfielders, he can come in and tidy things up, right? I think his first year we wanted him to come in and clean up games for us, and that's probably where he will be for us a lot. And then depending on who we bring in this summer, that would be perfect for us. So that's my take on Jorginho.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you reckon,
All right, Alonso, you want to jump in, Alonso?
We're talking about players and some of their high and low points, and we're talking about Jorginho. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Jorginho, when he came in the side, I thought, he was probably used for experience because, if anything, that's really lacked experience in midfield. And, at first, when he first got on, I was kind of worried because he came from Chelsea. And if you guys know that, any player who comes from Chelsea to Arsenal, we haven't panned out. And so, but he surprised me. And he still was very smart. His passing hasn't changed much, his range of passing rather. So, and he's a captain, I believe, for Philly and also for Chelsea a couple of times. So, all that considered, no player is perfect, and that was unfortunate. We haven't at Tottenham. There are some qualities in there I think that players can learn from, like a Rice, like a Odegaard, like Partey rather when he was on the team. So all those things considered, he was a good signing for us, and I'm glad that he's able to extend his contract maybe a year and a half probably. So. But all those things, Jorginho was a smart player, a smart signing, and he has a way with his teammates, and they like him. He likes them, and so it was a good all around signing for Arsenal at the time, and he continues to make a difference in the locker room too.
All right, great stuff, Alonso. Lawrence?
Good squad player, but he's prone to making mistakes like he did against Tottenham. Was man of the match for the game against Liverpool.
Yeah.
But how much playing time is he going to get for us next season? That's the real question.
Yeah,
I doubt very much if he'll start a lot. He'll probably be starting most games from the bench. What?
Cup competitions, some lower grade league games, some Champions League games. You should be able to get enough.
You're playing maybe a Caribou Cup game, and you're maybe playing some academy players.
Yeah.
Why not stick a Jorginho in there to like organise and help these young players through the game, right?
A player like Waneri would need Jorginho behind them, someone like that. You know what I mean? Declan Rice and Jorginho. A player like Waneri.
You give him confidence, right?
Nanwary. If we're clamoring for academy players to come through, then that could be what we need, a player like Jorginho to take that on.
He's what you call now in wrestling terms. He's become like an enhancement talent. His job isn't to win the matches anymore. He's to help the young players come in and to make them look good by putting them over.
And it's very important. We don't always see. We only see training videos, but you don't see exactly the nitty gritty of training, the professionalism of a player like Jorginho coming in, been there, done that. He's won things.
Jorginho is basically the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah, as BX Gunner said, he's like the unofficial. Now he's like the unofficial manager on the bench and in the background. Maybe assumed a little bit what Al Lenny was doing the last couple of seasons. We have to stop looking at players like they're dead after 30, elite quality. Indeed. I think the last player we have left is Saliba. William Saliba.
I think you also have. I don't think we talked about Kiwior. So
no, not Kiwior. We didn't talk about Kiwior.
Or Timber.
Or Ramsdale.
Or Timber.
Ramsdale.
No, we did Ramsdale. Remember, he was a Ramsdale.
Did we?
Yeah. I said he was a
Ramsdale. I thought that was part of the Raya discussion.
Okay.
I don't remember talking about
Ramsdale. Who's next? Lawrence, who picked Jorginho?
Why don't we let Alonso's pick? He hasn't had a pick.
I think it was.
All right.
Sam.
You got Saliba, Saliba, Ramsdale, Kiwior, Timber.
Or Reece Nelson.
Reece Nelson.
Okay. Well, right. I was going to bring it up earlier.
No, not you, Lawrence.
I was going to bring it up earlier.
It's Alonso's pick.
What?
We'll give Lawrence the next pick. Or we'll give Alonso the next pick.
Let Alonso have a pick. That one.
Okay. So,
thanks, Lawrence. For being a good sport.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, so I'll go with Sleepers. I'll go with Timber actually.
That's fun because
only because I thought when we signed him, I thought that he was a good player. He still could be a good player. It's unfortunate how he got hurt against the Nottingham Forest that early in the season, but you saw it earlier in preseason where he could be different. And on the left side of the pitch as a left back, where he doesn't normally play, but Arteta thinks that he could play there, so I'm all for it. But the way he played their first game against Manchester City, and I believe it was the preseason game, or was it the community show game? I thought he came on. I thought he didn't miss a step. It seemed like, and it feels like he was an Arsenal player for like 5 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, it was so frustrating that he got injured at Nottingham Forest, but you go to a game against Everton. It's like he didn't miss a step then as well. So it's a player that I look forward to watching a lot next year, to see how his recovery is, and also how good he can invert all over the place. And that's something that is different. You don't see that in a player like Timber, because at Ajax they teach that, where you have to play multiple positions and be successful at it. I'm very happy that he's on our team. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but still, he has a bright future with Arsenal.
Yeah. We'll go Lawrence next. Get him in there.
Okay.
Timber.
Okay, Saliba.
Timber.
Yeah. What?
Timber.
Oh,
Got
Timber,
anything,
sorry.
anything on Timber? Then we'll go to Saliba.
Timber. Well,
We've
we
got to
didn't
talk
see
about
much
Timber.
of him, did we? You know, he got injured the first game of the season.
Yep.
And it took him a while to get back. I mean, I was lucky enough to see him when Arsenal came out here to play Barcelona, and I thought it was a decent signing. And I was looking forward to watching him
What position
play
was he
for us.
playing?
But as I said,
What position was he playing when you saw him?
left back.
Mm.
Okay.
Because Gabriel and Saliba were the centre back pairing, and I think Ben White was playing at right back.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was really impressed. You know, I mean, I heard good things about him. You know, and for him to turn down Man United and choose us instead was, you know, a feather in our cap. And as I said, we didn't see. So
now, what do you want to go there for? Do you know what I mean?
So
Talking
I've lost my thought now. What was I saying? Yeah, so
would you like to leave the Buckingham Palace or this little shed?
So yeah, he picked up the injury, which was unfortunate. Scored a magnificent goal for the reserves at Blackburn when he came back.
Yeah,
and that second half against Everton has got me excited for the new season. You know, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of him.
Yeah, he bookended his season, Gary, with 2 appearances that weren't even full games. And I have it down here, LANS, like a new signing. We're going to feel like he's a new signing next season, Gary.
Yeah, this is a quick, easy, short one. But I'm surprised we were able to get Alonso on here. He should be crying right now. I just saw the news on ESPN.
Right, but we talked about Gary just
his pants.
Yeah.
No,
What happened?
No.
What
happened?
What happened? We'll talk about it later. This is an Arsenal fan circle.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't know you would take it that hard, but yeah, no Timber. No, in regards to Timber, yeah, it's a short, quick one. Right?
This is Lonzo right now.
We got about 46 minutes of or 50 minutes of his play.
Yes.
To count on, so not much to show there. But I did like what I saw in the preseason, like Alonso said. So it's promising. Hopefully, we get to see that his return back to the academy game that he played, and then the fact that he got to get on the pitch for us for a few minutes was pretty good. So expecting big things from him this year. You just need to keep him healthy. Make sure he can. We're gonna need it. You're gonna need him. I think him along with Partey, who I don't even think we talked about Partey yet, is something that. So nothing much to say about him. Like you said, we got a new lineup. He's got a new signing next year, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought LANS stood for Lawrence always knows something.
I don't think
that's
ever. I don't know if that's ever been said. I don't know.
I thought it meant Lawrence always knows shit.
Well,
you have to tell your missus that I wrote that in there because Ray knows. Lawrence always knows.
You're on the list, Stan.
I know. It was worth it. So, Timber, it's my turn, and I'm going to throw in my obligatory devil's advocate card. I don't like the way that we go crazy over players that we've not seen enough of. We've only seen a glimpse of this guy, a good glimpse, nonetheless. But, you know, I always hark back to Nuno Tavares, that new shiny toy. But I don't want to go down that road again. When, you know what I mean, Kieran Tierney's come back from injury and people are like, no, we should be playing Tavares and continuing. I like what I've seen of Timber, but I've not seen enough. And another thing I would like to say is as well, I don't want him to be a left back. I don't want him. Yeah, we saw him in a couple of appearances, but it was his first time for Arsenal. It was all full of piss and vinegar. But I've seen it before. Let's play Xhaka at left back. Has one good game at left back. We play him in the next game, was absolutely rubbish. Let's play the player in his favoured position. He's a centre back or a right back, apparently. So let's see him play there. I'd rather us go out and buy a left back. So that's what I'd like to say about Timber. But I do look forward to seeing him because he does look exciting.
Yeah. Okay, next one up. Lawrence, you get the pick.
Reece Nelson. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
short and sweet.
I just
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Well, basically, there's not much you can say. Everyone was telling me about he's going to be the next superstar, and I've just been unimpressed whatsoever. You know, a bit like Nketiah. I just don't think he's got a future at the club. He's got to go. I mean, the only thing we'll remember him is that injury time winner against Bournemouth a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And he did score in the EFL, the Carabao Cup, against Brentford, 1-0. But didn't do a whole lot. Who else wants to get in? Stan, Gary, Lonzo?
Yeah, I will very quickly. Thing with Nelson, he's a sort of, you can see that there's a talent there, but he's never going to get enough game time to bed in, right? He could go to somewhere like,
that means he's not good enough, Stan. When you say that, that means he's not good enough.
He could go to like a Crystal Palace and maybe be like an essay or Lise. Do you know what I mean? He could go to a team like that and shine if he's given game time and confidence and playing every week.
Yeah,
you could probably see a better player there, but he's not going to get that at Arsenal. He's not going to get that at Arsenal.
Eddie's got more. Eddie's got more talent than Reece Nelson, and I
would say that. And I would say the same thing for Eddie, that he could go to a team where he's going to play every week and have more. You know, be able to come out of himself more. Maybe that's what Reece Nelson needs as well. Reece Nelson doesn't have the personality to stamp himself into the team. He needs to go somewhere else. But there is a player. Again, I'm going to say it again. There is a player in there. I hate
that. You said that about Eddie Nketiah, Nelson, and now Fabio Vieira. So that means Fabio's done. Fabio's done. You've grouped him with Nelson and Eddie.
Yeah, and I think you could probably package it.
What was that game where Nelson came off the bench and he scored the winning goal? Do you remember?
Not of course.
Yeah, I mean, he can do stuff, right?
Not in Forest where he came in and he hit he had the brace.
2 goals, yeah.
Now I was just gonna say you can package this thing a package deal with Nelson and Emile Smith-Rowe. They both have one. They both have one thing about them that's just not going to work for Arsenal: availability for Emile Smith-Rowe and confidence from his manager and Nelson. Those are both negatives that are keeping him out of the lineup. And at some point, it's time for them to go. So Arteta has made it pretty clear he's confident in Nelson. I like his energy, but it just is not. Arteta doesn't like him, so we shouldn't hold on to them anymore.
Who do we want next, Gary?
Pick a
player, Gary. Pick a player, Gary.
I didn't get my say.
Isn't it me?
Okay, Nelson, Alonso, Nelson, go.
Right.
It was me, isn't it?
No,
Alonso went. Alonso went. Then Lawrence went. Then he went to Gary. You missed me.
I haven't picked a player yet.
I didn't have my son, Reece Nelson.
Tony's not even here, Stan.
I'm channeling him.
I can see that.
Like Lawrence said, I think with Reece Nelson, there's a play, there's a right feature with Reece Nelson, and so he.
If I got $1 for every time I heard that.
Yeah, you need a microscope to find it, but it's in there.
We're got to that. There is a player in there, part of the podcast. All right, lads.
There was a player in there, but he moved out because he couldn't afford the
I
rent.
really want to know what happened to Truex, but we're not talking about it right now. This is an Arsenal fan circle podcast. We won't
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, I want to sit there with you, man. This is not NASCAR. This is not NASCAR Senior podcast. This is
Dude, you can't be. Go and tell us about Nelson, man. Tell us about Nelson.
right. So, like, I remember all the hype with him coming up to the first team and all that, and I don't know what's up with Eddie and Nketiah and Reece Nelson getting these high contracts, and then they just don't do nothing, right? They pay a
Arsenal,
price
man.
for Arteta, and it's happened before, but Perry had big games and all that, and to him it's good enough, right? And then to get these wages, they get improved wages, and then they just aren't motivated enough. Like you see all the time in basketball and football, that these players get these raises, and they just don't do nothing. They're okay with just getting on the bench and getting 100 grand a week, and then they're okay with that. And this is what Arteta has to figure out. Um, you know, how many chances do you get, or how their training sessions are going? Because obviously it's not working out for them, because they're not getting picked on a certain level. They're not getting picked to end the game with 10 minutes to go, right? So it's a conundrum on their time has passed now, and it's someone else's turn from the academy to make a difference, and it hasn't gone their way since they got the new signings, right? So it's best that they go off and to other club that will play them more, and we may regret selling them, but that's in the future, and that's up to them to decide. So Reece Nelson, he could go off to Wolves or Crystal Palace or Fulham, wherever. But I hope he succeeds. But it ain't an Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. These players who are going to move on will watch their careers with interest. Next choice maybe goes to Gary, I think, right?
No.
Yeah. What do you mean? I haven't gone in a while, dude.
He went Alonso, Lawrence, and then it's going to Gary.
No, you made us skip. You made us change the order. Now all of a sudden you want to go.
Yes, I was going in order. You said, "What about Alonso?"
Okay, go on.
I'll pick another low-hanging fruit. I'll pick another low-hanging
And Tony's
fruit.
not even here.
I'll go to Ramsdale. Yeah. I mean,
do Ramsdale.
I think
Gary,
the one negative, and Stan probably backs me up on this one.
Yes.
Why'd you make that video?
The goalkeeper.
Why'd you make that video? And you know what? The 18 clean sheets we had in the season, 2 of them are on Ramsdale's on his list.
Watch.
So he actually did contribute to the clean sheets that we got this
Brentford
year.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't like the way Arteta handled that, bringing in another goalkeeper thing. It needed to be done sooner if it was going to happen at all. Maybe we get something for maybe his career can continue on. We kind of stymied his career. That whole, he gets to play Brentford matches. Nah, come on. I think Arteta, should have been a little bit nicer to him. He deserved better for that, as far as getting us into
then we had
Champions League and stuff like that. So yeah, nah.
Then we had that podcast, Gary.
Yeah.
We had that podcast when Dad comes on.
When his dad comes on now, I think, like I said, the only negative really was that we got, sometimes you hear how the sausage is made and you don't like it, and I didn't like that. That was something that we didn't. That was one of those things where I didn't really need to know. I really didn't need to know how you think out there, because it doesn't put you.
Well, you like sausage. You like to have that.
Gary, I've just had my dinner.
Sorry.
Stanley can do Tony. He's shouting on Tony for sure.
Yeah.
Stan is.
Yeah.
But listen, the Brentford games, he kept a clean sheet away to Brentford, and the team congratulated him, rallied around him. But then we had the home game against Brentford. He tries to clear the ball, and he's closed down, and the goal goes in. The ball goes in. So highs and lows for Ramsdale. I was going to say Rashford. Lawrence, highs and lows for your boy Ramsdale.
Yeah. Well, talking of that game against Brentford at home, he did pull off a wonder save in the second half when Ivan
Yes.
Toney tried to lob in from the halfway
Yes.
line.
Yes.
So,
I remember.
but yeah,
Good shout.
I'm just I'm just gutted that he's going to be leaving us because you need a character at the back. No, because that personifies confidence. And although I've got to admit, Raya is a good goalkeeper, he's not a character, is he?
No. But maybe we need that. Maybe we need that. We need to be more calm, less emotional at the back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I'll always give Aaron Ramsdale the time of day. And as I said, good luck to him wherever he ends up.
Right. And thanks, Lawrence. Alonso. Ramsdale.
Yeah, it's a shame that, Arteta didn't value him. I think last year, the work he did with Arsenal in 2021, 2022, and excuse me, 2000. From the time he's been here, he's been nothing but gracious and humble. When he came to Arsenal, there was that big deal where he came from Sheffield United. Why were you spending all that money to get him and all that? And he proved us wrong. And he got us to fifth, and he got us to second, or helped get us there.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions on why I got Raya from Brentford, and it's just shame it didn't work out. I too was a fan of Ramsdale, Lawrence. So in a way, I felt bad for Ramsdale because he's a good guy. But I think once his dad made an appearance on a podcast or wherever it was, I think it kind of hurt Ramsdale a lot and his relationship with Arteta. But even still, I appreciate what he did with Arsenal. I hope that he becomes England's number one goalkeeper. And I hope he does put on a good show in the Euros. I hope he does play some. And that being said, I hope he does have success elsewhere. If it isn't at Arsenal. Like I said, he's a good guy. He understands the rivalries. He understands what it meant to be an Arsenal player. I do rate him. I think he just got screwed over. And Raya, to his credit, kept his job. We were fortunate to have team of one goalkeepers. Unfortunately, Raya won out by how, I don't know. I think it was an unfair contest. I thought that Ramsdale should have more playing time. But it is what it is. I wish Ramsdale well. He wore the Arsenal kit very well. He was very proud, and I'm always thankful for him.
Yeah, the breath of fresh air and part of the ushering Arsenal into the top two race versus Man City. I do wonder how he's probably gonna go to a rival Premier League club, and how he's going to view Arsenal when he faces them again. I can only see it with being a smile on his face and much love for Arsenal. I don't see any banter going on between Arsenal fans and Ramsdale in the future when he plays for a rival club. Obviously, depending on what club it's going to be, right, Alonso?
I think for Ramsdale, I think Arsenal fans appreciate what he did. So I don't think there would be that much animosity because he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to, but also didn't want to hold grudges, and he supported Raya. He's a good guy, and I think that's what I think Arsenal fans will remember best about Ramsdale.
Well,
and he's English, and he's also English. So.
Exactly. All right, Gary, who have we got left? You got the head count.
It was Carrier and Emil Smith-Rowe, right?
Kivior, Emil Smith-Rowe, Partey, and Saliba.
Oh my! You even got the Saliba. Wow.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to get out of here.
Do we lose Stan or what's going on?
He's there in the background. He's I don't know what he's doing.
All right.
But
You know
I
what? Let's
think
go. Let's go. You know what? We can't. He's not last, so let's go get Saliba. I'm surprised we got this far about bringing Saliba
yeah.
up.
William Saliba. What can we say about William Saliba? I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it in the next 2 weeks. Didier Deschamps is starting to see the quality of William Saliba and may well take over that tournament with the injury at the back. I think Koundé is injured, right? Or one of them. Konate or Koundé is injured. I'm not sure. But Saliba is going to push through in the French team, and we're going to see his worth to not only Arsenal but in world football. It's going to be shown.
Yeah. No. No. Saliba
Going to
once
be
again,
evident.
just like all of our top players, not much negative to say on his game.
No,
He's gonna
no.
make it. He's gonna make little mistakes here and there, but that's what happens when you have a lot of. We have a lot of possession of the ball, and we start out from the back and stuff like that. But no, as I said, along with him and Gabriel, makes a really a good tandem there. When one isn't there, the other one is there. Saliba is known for his going out one-on-one and cleaning up any kind of threats that come in. He's going to come in there and clean the ball off whoever it is and take the ball away and move, and we go back the other way. So yeah, no, we've been doing this for a while. He is, as some say, maybe the next up and coming center back of in the world, not just not just in France, not just in England. So he's a really
Are we talking
good
about
talent.
Saliba, I take it?
Yes, yeah. So there's not much. There's nothing negative you can say about him. All positive. He's only gotten better since he was away for two seasons, and and I think he's re-signed with us now. So we're not going to let him go for a bit. So no. This is a solid part of our team. Just another one of those that spine that we talk about. He's definitely, heading it up right there in the back line along with Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stan?
Yeah, when I think of a centre back, you can think of centre backs like, for example, you think of Tony Adams. He's one of those centre backs that it doesn't matter who's next to him, whether it's Keown or Bold. It's going to work, and it's going to work because Tony Adams is the one that's in there with that other person. Virgil van Dijk is a similar player. I think John Terry at Chelsea was also a similar centre back.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm wondering if Saliba is that,
I think so.
Does Saliba look so good because of the partnership he has, the partner that he has as well? Because the two of them are so good, aren't they? And the way that they work together.
I think we'll find out in the next 2 weeks.
Is it because he doesn't get a shout for the French team because he doesn't have a Gabriel, and there's another player that can do a similar thing? Do you know what I'm trying to get at? I'm trying to look at it microscopically.
Well,
but
right at the end.
But don't get me wrong. I think he's an excellent centre back.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's a little bit like I can't think of Bergkamp without thinking of Henry. I can't think of Henry without thinking of Bergkamp, and I can't think of Saliba without thinking of Gabriel Megalegs. And I can't think of Gabriel Megalegs without thinking of Saliba. The complement is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would work if both of them went to other places, whether they would have the same joy and success.
We've seen that in numerous places where it doesn't work when you move to another club. Yeah.
Great partnership.
Yeah. There's been no downside to Saliba, only upside, and he was always obviously going to play for Arsenal.
Got a feeling Tony's rolling around wherever he is now. He wants to.
He's looking for them crumbs.
He was always going to play for Arsenal, Lawrence.
Yeah.
But one of the first crowns in the box, Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, when I look at Arsenal centre halves, I think about Frank McClintock, David O'Leary, Tony Adams,
Sol
Steve
Campbell.
Bold, Sol Campbell, Martin Keough.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, where would I place Saliba amongst all those greats?
Yeah.
I think he has all the attributes of all those past Arsenal central defenders. If not, he's better than most of them. I was a bit concerned when we signed him, and then he got loaned out to a couple of French teams, because I was wondering whether Arteta had made a mistake. But when he made his debut for us against Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
I thought, wow, him and Gabriel. What's that?
Some people say happy accident. Yeah.
Yeah, happy accident. Yeah.
Willie Young.
I mean, as I said,
Willie Young. There you go.
Willie, yeah.
Oh,
We got the biggest Willie in the land. No, but I mean, I've seen some fantastic central defenders play for Arsenal in the 40-odd years that I've been following the club.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, Saliba is on the same pedestal as those players that I just mentioned.
Right. Yeah. High compliments indeed. Alonso, what can you say about Saliba now? To add to this.
I mean,
Hasn't been already said, right?
But is he still on loan to Laurent, or is he still on loan to Leon? I mean, he's gonna play for us, right? No, but whenever I haven't been a fan that long, so I remember guys like Gullis, Scalacci, Giroud, Johan Giroud, the guy from Sweden, was it Denmark, right?
Yeah.
I remember all these guys that came in to play for Arsenal, like David Luiz, like Panos, all these guys, And there was a period where I thought our best center-back pairing was Mertesacker and Koscielny. And when I saw Saliba, all I heard was hype, because we got him at a price of 30 million, right, from Saint Etienne. So all I heard was hype, and all I heard was just this poor kid getting loaned out to Marseille and to our other club. What's the other club he was loaned out to? Yeah, Lens. So I was excited that he kind of came and played for us, but I didn't know how good he was until I saw him at Arsenal in the preseason games.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow, we're very, very lucky to have a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Rolls Royce, Ferrari kind of player.
Absolutely.
But back then, we were stuck with William Gullis, number 10, center back, right? And I didn't, and then you go from that to now William Saliba and the difference that he makes, and it's like, wow, we probably have a great partnership again, like we had with back in the day. So, I think, like Stan had said, you're only as good as your partner makes you. So, I think Magalhaes has come a long way himself, when making less mistakes, and we had a formidable center back pairing we haven't had in a very long time.
Yeah.
And all it takes a little bit of patience, and we have Saliba now. So, it's all credit to Arteta to risk him being loaned out twice. And, I've never seen a more composed center back in a very long time in an Arsenal kit. So,
yeah,
at his age, he's world class already. And it's like, wow.
A great scouting for a young player that we went and got him early under Unai Emery and Raul.
So I keep getting up because I've got the barbecue on, and I'm cooking burgers. And every time I get up and flip the burgers around, it's like fucking Kane's fucking entrance.
They're burning the fat off. Yeah.
Where,
all right,
Dan, where's the missus?
I tell him so the missus is at some fucking function, right? Where she was telling me about it, right? She's like, I'm like, where you going? something at the college where she's a director for. They're having this opening this new wing or whatever, and she's got to cut the ribbon. And so I just tongue in cheek, right? I said, "You got to cut the ribbon?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Have they given you like one of them big pair of novelty scissors as a joke?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Pictures or it didn't happen." So I'm more excited about not the prestigious award that she's. I'm more interested about the big scissors. So I'm like, "You get like the big scissors."
Nice one, Stan. All right, we don't want you to burn your burgers or let them go too long. We're going to cap this off pretty soon, so I'm going to give you the remaining 3 players. All right, and we're going to talk. We're going to do this. All right.
ESR's got to be in there.
Huh?
ESR.
Yeah, Kivior, Partey, and ESR as a trio. Jakob Kivior.
I'll go
Partey.
first. So I can get it out.
You
with.
go.
But Partey availability, that's been his biggest heel, and
Would you keep him another season?
No.
If we can't sell him, that's the thing. If we can't sell him, he's staying, but he's coming off the bench, and he only plays. Guess what? He only plays. Guess what? I'll say it again. He only plays as a number 6, a defensive mid, CDM, whatever you call it. He only plays there if he's going to stay. No right back, no left back, no
we'll keep
anything.
Moving. Yeah.
So Milsofro, same thing, availability. Kyrgios needs another year. I think he's shown really good for us in the games that he's played. Made us forget somewhat about Zinchenko. He's still still a young talent. And that's what we want players like that Arteta, one, trusts, and 2, they actually repay him with some good performances. So there you go.
Would you sell Kivior this summer?
Yes, I would sell. I would sell you. You named him as one of your 5 or 6. He's not in my 5 or 6. So I would sell him if we can get money for him. We need more timber. We need what we just did in the last window. We need those types of players. All of them came in, all contributed. All weren't for me, negatives.
All right. Stan, those 3: Kivior. Thanks, Gary. Kivior, Partey, and Mill Smith-Rowe.
Partey, big letdown. He came back and he was available for the last 2 games of the season.
Was poor, yeah.
And I just said to myself, just give me your 2 best games for the end. You've got 2 games. Surely you can dig it out. And I'm sorry, but he was poor in those last 2 games, and we really needed him. So I'm done with him. And for the amount of money that we're paying him per week, I think he's up there around about the 200s.
Yeah.
No, it's time to cut loose. ESR, unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. Don't think we can really find a place for him where he plays in the squad that's going to suit him. And Kivior, he's done very well for a player that's played largely out of position. He's a left-footed centre back. Let's have it right. He's supposed to be really, I thought, the backup for Gabriel if Gabriel can't play, and he's not really had that opportunity. So I'd like to keep him.
Okay. All right, Lawrence, Kivior, Partey, and Mill Smith-Rowe.
Kivior, I don't see him being able to break through the Saliba Gabriel partnership.
Well, we don't need
unless
him
one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, left back is not his natural position.
Yeah.
He gets called out too many times. He got called out too many times when he played for us in that position, especially against Bayern Munich in the first leg. So I think Arteta needs to cut his losses and let him go to AC Milan or Juventus or whoever is after him.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe, unfortunately, as Stan said, because of injuries, he's not going to get a spot in the team, which is a shame because I think he's a great player and I love the song about him and Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my days following Status Quo. But I think it's best if he finds another team. And Partey, according to my sources back home, because of the allegations about his his off-field
Yeah.
activities, I think he's gone. I don't think the club want him. They don't.
Okay.
They don't want someone who carries that baggage. I think he's
Right.
gone.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
hear. I mean, I know you've said you got contacts. I don't.
Nice. Look at
I don't
that.
feel like we
Nice.
hear much about that issue. I mean, I just feel
Wow.
like that's not. I don't even think that's an issue.
I want one of those, Stan.
Yeah.
You don't think?
I mean, I don't want to bring up the allegations,
Yeah.
but there are allegations about his off-field activities,
Yeah.
and the club are pissed off about it because they don't want that
Bad press.
baggage attached.
Yeah.
Why do
bad
they
press.
play him? Why would you play him? Why would you play a player if that's what you think is going on in behind the scenes? I just feel like this team has done so many different things
they
with
want to
different
get their
players.
money back on him.
No,
Yeah.
they're not.
Because they want to get their money back on him in the summer.
They're never going to get their money back if they don't want to play him, and they're not, he's
Well,
not
it might-
available.
Some are saying he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia either, as well. So that we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about the transfer window. But let's finish up with Alonso for those three: Kivior, Partey, and Emil Smith Rowe.
I think for Kubion, right? He's so fast as he can play left back. However, he be good cover for Gabriel. Gabriel somehow get hurt, but he's still young. I think that he can still prove himself. Again, I think last year what happened was, Megalesh and Saliba both played a lot of the minutes, and there are times where we thought that they could have easily gotten some rest. So there's he's very talented, right? To go play that back and center back is kind of hard to do, but nowadays it's kind of expected. Partey, unfortunately, he's always hurt when we need him the most. And last year there were some stretches that Arteta could have used him as a number 8, and had number 6, and had Declan Rice and Udegaard for number 8. That would have been pretty cool to see. Now, Messer's role to me is different. I think though often hurt, he could still be pretty much a good player for Arsenal, and he got man of the match award. So that kind of gives you hope that he could still play at a level to win the team games. And he's a risk, yeah, but it's a risk that you have to take. And he'll get playing time because I think Arteta said that he's going to be careful with them as he was with Gabriel Martinelli. So with that said, there's still a future, I believe, with him being at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So, again, his past injury history doesn't say that he's always going to be healthy, which is a concern. But he's very talented, and that's a problem. It's just keeping him healthy, and the things he could do, he needs to do it on the consistent.
Of all the, there's a player in there. That's the one I have the most time for, Emil Smith Rowe. Okay, we're going to get out of here. One last question. One word answer, Alonso. Who's going to win the Euros? Havertz, Saliba, or Rice and Saka?
England.
England, okay. Gary?
I guess Saliba.
I'm going with Saliba. Stan?
Yeah, I'll go with Saliba as well.
Okay. 3 for Saliba, 1 for England. Lawrence? Make a prediction, Lawrence.
Lawrence ain't going to give us a prediction. He never does. Come on.
England.
Oh, look at that.
He did it.
All
Huh? All right, guys. This been a long podcast, but we went through the whole squad. Right? There you go.
Maybe Cedric. I'm joking.
Cedric, yeah. Enjoy your hamburger. Enjoy your burgers, Stan. Enjoy
I miss Stan's opinion on Zinchenko.
ribbon cutting. Reel it back. Dial it. You'll have to rewind, Alonso. And yes, we'll have to tell me what happened to Martin Truex later. I got to shoot off. And I won't be around on Sunday either. So we'll see you next Thursday. Okay.
See you
Thanks,
next
Gary.
Thursday, everyone.
Everybody.
Right. Thanks,
Sure,
Gary.
guys.
And
Take care.
Alonzo,
Yeah.
Lawrence, take care. We're out
See you
of here.
Thursday.
See you Thursday.